Welcome to Captain's Log, the show devoted to discussions and insights into pop culture with an emphasis on cinema and the occasional themed episodes. This is your captain speaking, Jose Valle Jr. Let's begin our transmission. Stardate 02/24/2020. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Captain's Log. I'd like to start off by apologizing for the unexpected break. We've been off a week off. Normally I do it every 2 weeks, but we've been in the process of figuring out some behind-the-scenes stuff for the sort of future direction of the podcast. So I didn't want to put anything out without having figured out what we want to do, but also I didn't have an episode topic until just recently. So... But today we're back, and we are joined by friend of the log. That's what I call the guest now. First mate, Mason Schrader. Welcome back, Mason.
Hey, how's it going?
He goes, good. How are you?
Oh, I'm around. I don't know. I'm still here. I'm back on the podcast. I'm always better when I'm on the log, when I'm logging it with Zay. That's what I call it. That's what your fans call you.
I was going to say, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have all decided that the login with Zay.
Oh, wow. I really like that.
It's a more poppier spinoff. It's when you want to get big, that's what you're gonna have to change this show to, is Login with Zay.
Yeah, I've been talking to some graphic artists about getting some Login with Zay merch.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah. Then you can get Zendaya on as your co-host.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Login with the Zays.
Wow.
Yeah, you get it.
You're blowing my mind here.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, Mason, so as you're aware, today we are going to be taking a look at some of the most interesting urban legends, myths, unsolved mysteries, and just overall kind of weird, creepy shit from specific regions of the United States. And we're starting with the Midwest, America's heartland, as they call it.
Wait, we are? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm on the wrong podcast. I was supposed to be on a podcast about laces, about like shoelaces and how they were made. So I think I'm in the wrong place. Do you have anything about shoelaces?
I can rework this.
Okay.
I can rework this.
Right,
okay, hang in there with me.
We'll be okay.
So this is part one of it. What's going to be an 8-part series that I've dubbed Unsolved U.S.
Ooh, I like it.
So Mason and I were going to be taking a look at various regions of the U.S. throughout this series and what they have to offer in the urban legend category of, I don't know, spookiness, weirdness.
Creepiness. I like it.
I don't know. Some of these are a lot more just comical than they were. We'll get into it.
Well, yeah.
We're starting off with the Midwest because, why not? But also...
Good point.
Yeah. We just kind of threw a dart on the board, and it was like, Midwest. No, but Mason is from the Midwest, so you were born and raised in Iowa, right?
Southeastern Iowa.
And
get too specific.
I'm currently sentenced to probation in Iowa.
That's right. Yeah, it's the only state that will allow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Utah was like, we're not having it anymore, and they got sent over here.
Yeah.
But we thought, when I approached Mason with a topic, we thought it'd be fun to start with the Midwest, because like it'd just be interesting to learn some of the stuff that
because I love like cryptids and stuff, but like the Midwest you don't hear a lot about. No, it's not big for cryptids. You don't hear a lot of it.
Yeah, when I was researching this, a lot of it was like, I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mostly it's just like, people are just like, did you hear there's a mountain lion outside of town?
And everybody's like, oh my God, a mountain lion?
And it's like the talk of the town.
Yeah. And then the newspaper's like, mountain lion spotted. Could this mean apocalyptic ending?
Well, no, I was just like, maybe they talked to a farmer who's like, well, we were out in a tractor and I heard a rustling and I looked over and, it was like a big cat. I don't know. It looked too big to be a raccoon.
But yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. But so with this series, we're not going to be doing the news segment that I normally do. Did you see the news? Just because there's so much to cover, and also I felt like it just doesn't really apply here because it's not
a series,
right? And it's not like a movie related thing.
This is a deep dive. I'm putting on I got my goggles on.
I've got my tinfoil hat on.
Just put on a snorkel.
Yeah.
I'm going. That's me
deep
jumping
diving.
in.
Gotcha.
I'm diving deep. I guess it's a long snorkel.
Yeah, but what we are going to be doing is we're still going to be doing check this out. So I think you've been on. I don't think you've ever been a part of it, but
I haven't done it yet. No.
Yeah, because what I normally do is I'll do an interview, like I'll do a guest episode or whatever, and then I just record, check this out, post the guest coming on, and I just add it in. But I thought it would be interesting to see what you had to recommend. And so the way Check This Out works for people who haven't listened to the show is I recommend songs, TV shows, movies, books,
media, and entertainment.
Just any sort of, and I kind of give a little breakdown of it, of what it is, just kind of explain kind of the gist, and then why I'm suggesting it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and start, and then Mason, you've brought some stuff to recommend.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing I have to recommend is a song called Midnight, the Stars and You by Al Bowley. Mason and other listeners of the last podcast on the left will recognize this as the ending song at the end of every episode.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's the little thing that plays when they do the, which I love, the, Hail Satan, hail yourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a song that plays. I'd never listened to the full song. It's just like an old timey kind of like, it's creepy in a way that it's not meant to be creepy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a old timey sounding, like the
Tiny Tim song,
or the
tip throat.
Yes,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, or the song by I can't remember their names, but the Tonight You Belong to Me, the one where it's like,
oh yeah,
yeah, you know which one I'm talking. Yeah,
you belong with me.
No, it's like, I know. Yeah. You belong. Yeah.
I was pretty sure I was doing that.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Okay.
But yeah, no. Tonight,
I think that's all we can sing. Cause
no, wait, I can do. We are
15 seconds. That's what you get.
Somebody
once told me the world is.
All right, this is
anyway.
Off track.
But yeah, Midnight, the Stars and You by Al Bowley. It's just fun. I just like it. Cause it's it's just like old timey, and it's kind of like I want to say it's kind of like a jazzy kind of feel. But anyway, so check that out. It's fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The next thing I have to recommend is a book which kind of inspired this whole thing. And it was like one of the first things that I read that got me into like the supernatural and like cryptids and paranormal stuff. So I think I read this when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade. It's called Mysteries Unwrapped, Mutants and Monsters. It's by Oliver Ho. It's very much like I wouldn't say it's a kid's book, but it's very like light reading. It's not like super in-depth stuff, but it's just like if you're someone who's like kind of interested in subjects like this and you want to get a sort of general overview of it, this has a lot of the stuff that we'll cover, and it's pretty fun, well written, some really cool animation, like what's the word I'm looking for here? Illustrations.
The non-moving ones.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
So yeah, that's called Mysteries Unwrapped. It's Mutants and Monsters by Oliver Ho. That's fun. And then my last one, I just watched this for the first time. I think this is what my friend's dad refers to as the unofficial 4th Cornetto film. Cornetto, the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, with Edgar Wright.
Yeah, except this one, because even though this came out before the last one in the Cornetto trilogy, it's Simon Pegg. The only thing that's missing is Edgar Wright. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
I would argue is the integral part.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
But Simon Pegg and Nick Frost wrote this movie, and it's about these two like British friends who are like these super like sci-fi nerds who come to the U.S. to go to Comic-Con, and then they do a road trip through like these sort of like UFO hotspots of like the southwestern United States.
Yeah, the places that are mostly desert.
Yeah, and along their way they pick up an alien fugitive who's played by Seth Rogen, whose name is Paul, and it's really funny. It's so I remember like seeing trailers for this when I was younger, and I thought it was a completely different movie. Like it looked like a bad movie. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Because it was like around the time that was you'd get all like the the raunchy stuff where it was like, this is just us making a bunch of dick jokes and fart jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's completely, I think the trailers didn't do this justice because it's really good. And it's not, I think that these two guys are good writing. team, and it's not overly. It's like smart humor almost. You know what I mean? It's
so
like a wittiness.
I have a theory about this.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the way it was marketed. I'm pretty sure, because I don't know how many. Have you seen any of Simon Pegg's movies that aren't Edgar Wright films?
I think he wrote Star Trek Beyond, but that's I think that's about it.
No, I'm talking about like the one where he's a therapist and he goes on the Search for Happiness or something like that, or the one where he runs a marathon. So all of those I think were, because they're fairly decent movies in their own right, but I don't think they translated well to American audiences.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that the trailers for Paul were so misleading is I think they were really trying to make a push to get American audiences to see it. So they kind of did a thing where the trailer didn't really show as much the film's feel as much as it could have.
Yeah, I watched the unrated version of it. Just seemed like a normal. There wasn't anything. I thought there was going to be like nudity and stuff. Nope. Just swears, I guess. So that's all I have. What do you got for us, Mason?
So I just pulled these two out of the top of my head as soon as I heard them, but my first one is a movie called Hunt for the Wilder People, which has probably even been talked about on this podcast before.
I haven't, because I just watched it recently.
Fair enough. So
I think you might have brought it up, actually.
Could be. So Hunt for the Wilder People is a movie by Taika Waititi, who is now gained a lot of notoriety. I don't feel the need that I have to deeply explain who he is anymore when I talk about him. But I think Hunt for the Wilder People is his... I feel like it's his most unknown movie. Yeah. Maybe not his most, but I feel like it's certainly... I think it's as good as every other of his movies that he's made, but I feel like it doesn't get talked about.
I feel like it definitely flies under the radar still.
Yeah, and I mean, it's because all of his movies are phenomenal, but I feel like Hunt for the Wilder People should be like talked about with What We Do in the Shadows and stuff like that, because it is a phenomenal... movie about the boy. I can't remember the actor's name, but it's he was the same kid in Deadpool 2 that played the kid in Deadpool 2. And
his name is Julian Dennison.
Right. So he's a foster kid. He gets adopted into the New Zealand outback, and I don't want to spoil a whole bunch, but they end up like living in the outback together. He and his and they start Outback Steakhouse. Adopted, and then that's how it goes. They're in that's the Australian Outback. Ah, jeez. So they're in the New Zealand Outback, and they go on this kind of run from the law, and it's a phenomenal film. Mm-hmm. It's this like exciting and hilarious, but it's so heartfelt. Yeah. The way Taika Waititi captures emotions, I think, is the most realistic I've seen emotions really be captured, and I don't know. It really always makes me feel something when I watch a Taika Waititi movie, and I think that means. So that's pretty special. Less so maybe in the Marvel movies that he's done, but, I mean, that's okay. Yeah. Get your money. Yeah. And Thor Ragnarok is probably one of the better MCU movies. Oh, I would say it's the best by far, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I get what, I wouldn't say it's the best Taika Waititi. No. And then, so that's my movie, and then I got a book called Horns. Oh, okay, so you were recommending the book. Okay. Yeah, sorry, yeah, no. There's also a movie starring Daniel Radcliffe that's called Horns. Yeah. It's based on the book, but I thought the book was much better than the movie. So this book it's Horns by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is actually Stephen King's son, I believe, who writes under the pen name Joe Hill. But I think Horns is a good one, especially for our topic tonight that we're doing on the podcast, where it's this guy who wakes up and he's got horns on his head and he's a kind of the devil. Never really describes it. It's phenomenal. It's hilarious. It's witty. It's sad. It's just crazy and nuts, and it's a little spooky all at the same time. It's a phenomenal book. You guys should definitely check it out, and it's created one of my favorite first names ever, that I think if I ever have a son, I'm going to name him Ignatius. That's a great name. Ignatius, I do love right? That name. Yeah. Ignatius Schrader? Yeah. It's a little hard to say. It might not be great. Well, I want to name my kid Atticus, so I think it's fine. Lame. Well, all right, steady on. Well, he only fought and lived for. He only fought against racism and lived for racial equality. But okay. Yeah, no, sure, but he's also just like the guy from To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, it's whatever. It's my favorite book. One of my favorite books. I don't know. It's dumb. So I think that wraps up our recommendations. That wraps up meandering around hour. Hey guys, it's Jose here with a quick ad break. Did you know that a recent Pew study found that 27% of adults say they haven't read a single book in the past year? The main reason?
Time. Devoting time to reading a book can be hard, especially when you lead a busy life and are always on the move, which means people are missing out on expanding their minds and being exposed to some great storytelling, and that is where Audible comes in. Audible boasts a collection of thousands of audiobooks, and the thing that Audible offers busy people who don't have time to sit down and read a book is found time, which is the ability to listen to a great audiobook when you're on the move, while you're commuting, cooking, exercising, gardening, or hunting down the nation's best urban legends. And right now you can get a 30-day free trial by going to audibletrial.com/captainslog or by clicking the link in the show notes. My most recent listen was President Obama's memoir, Dreams from My Father, which was narrated by the man himself and was a great emotional insight into the president's life. But that's one of the cool things about Audible is that a lot of the audiobooks available are often narrated by the authors themselves or other great celebrities. I'm going to be checking out Horns by Joe Hill after Mason's recommendation, and I recommend you all do the same. But if audiobooks aren't your thing, they also have a huge collection of podcasts, guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, and exclusive Audible originals you won't find anywhere else. So honestly, what reason do you have for not giving Audible a try? Go get started on your 30-day trial now by going to audibletrial.com/captainslog or by again clicking the link in the show notes. You'll be helping us out and helping yourself out. So go get started now and enjoy the rest of the podcast. So I'm going to be reading the most agreed upon version of the story or tale, and then Mason and I will be determining if it's spooky or just kooky. And that means that we're going to be deciding if it's something that kind of gives us the chills or could be a credible story. I don't think we should put so much emphasis on the second one because, of course, a lot of these aren't going to be.
How many of them are going to be both?
None. Almost none. So if it's kind of fun or like it spooks, then it's spooky, obviously.
Is that what that means? Okay, thanks.
No. If it's just like plain fucking nuts or just like really silly, then it's just kooky.
Yeah. I'm with you. Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. So, Mason, I think you're mostly a skeptic when it comes to the supernatural, right?
Okay. Do you know those posters that have like the little UFO on them and it says "I want to believe"?
Yeah, I have that poster.
That's basically. I'm pretty sure that poster is hung up inside my soul.
Okay.
Because I want them all to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens. I would argue I believe in aliens. I'd say.
I was gonna say that's the one that I think is.
That's a soft belief in aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the rest to be true so badly.
But I know you're mostly like.
But I'm gonna
completely skeptical towards ghosts, right?
I don't believe in ghosts. No.
Okay.
But but also I'd love if ghosts were true. I would love if all these things were true. But our world's not fun. I'm from a viewpoint that basically if something seems fun or awesome or good, it's not real.
Yeah. Well, that's great that you're the person I'm doing this with because I'm the complete fucking opposite.
Yeah.
I think that our world is too big for it to not be fun. You know what I mean? I think we don't know enough about what's out there to be like, well, that can't be real. So the way I approach things is, why not? You know, why couldn't that? I mean, I'm not like a blind believer where it's like, if you tell me that somebody saw a fucking UFO during rush hour in downtown LA or whatever,
right?
And then it opened up and it gave them a Coca-Cola, I'm not gonna be like, yeah,
that would be nuts.
That fucking happened.
Actually, that would make a lot. Actually,
that would in LA.
Hold on, we need to probably get Coke on the phone because I think we may have just created the best Coca-Cola ad in the entire world.
Holy shit, that is actually really good,
right?
But yeah, so I think it's good then. I think it'll be a good.
I just can't believe. I would love to have that viewpoint of like. The world, there's things that we undiscovered in the world. I'm pretty sure that everything's been discovered. I believe there's probably still can be some stuff in space, and there's probably could still be a giant kraken, maybe real down deep in the ocean.
Well, we know there are kraken.
Well, but like big ones,
like 45 feet long.
Yeah, but like 45 feet. Come on.
Do you know how big that is?
It's big, but it's not like nuts.
It's
not like gonna come up and
like 100
wrap
foot
up a boat, and you know what I mean. And
well,
okay, I think one thing that's important to mention is so what Jose did is he did the research for this. He compiled all these stories. I haven't heard any of them yet, so he's gonna be reading these to me and explaining them to me, and I'm coming in blind here. I think that's an important thing we should mention before we get too far into this.
Yeah. Good. Glad that you brought that up. I think by the next episode, maybe that won't be the case.
Maybe. We'll see.
Now that we have our guidelines all figured out, let's jump into it. So there's
our first state?
Well, hang on. I've got a little thing, okay?
Oh, okay.
So there's differing opinions as to what the Midwest is out there.
Sure.
I think a lot of people. You know what my favorite thing
This
is?
is what people
a little
came
bit
to
off
listen to
topic.
this podcast
Yes,
for,
but
is
a little off
where
topic.
we draw the rules for the Midwest.
So actually, if you look at the almanac from 1885, so the definition of Midwest that we're going with is going to be North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, and then Iowa.
Yeah, so all the states, when like people that live on coast like look at the map and they're just like, I know they're around this area, but I don't know which one's which.
All the states that when a filmmaker wants to set something in a small rural town, he just throws it at the dartboard and then.
Fun fact: that's how we got Bridges of Madison and Field of Dreams.
Wow, just because you have to say this when you do a list. We're not going to get to everybody's favorite story or legend or whatever. When it came to assembling this list, I had to unfortunately make the tough choice of leaving some stuff out due to like lack of detail, and a lot of these don't have any detail. That's why they're urban legends.
Right.
But there was some that just were like 2 sentences,
This
and
is
I
just
was
like someone ran into a newspaper room and was like, I saw a winged dog.
Yeah.
I saw a dog with
and then
wings.
it's like the winged dog of Ottumwa or whatever.
County.
Yeah. Or sometimes they were just so plain fucking dumb when compared to some of the other stuff.
Right.
That I was like, yeah, this can't make it. So again, sorry about that. Since there are about like 12 states in this Midwest region that we've picked.
Now defined.
Yeah, we're going to be splitting it into a 2-parter episode. So this is part 1. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks to do part 2. But for this part 1, we're going to, our first state, which is North Dakota. And then we'll do South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio. So let's start with the first state on our list.
What's our first state?
North Dakota.
Ooh.
Yeah. First, we begin with a legend of White Lady Lane. If you find yourself driving down a dusty old gravel road heading west in North Dakota on County Road 9, you'll eventually come upon Tetrault Woods. That's a tough name.
Tetrault. Yeah, Tetrault. Yeah.
Which you will have to make your way through. It is said that the road becomes so narrow that you can hardly drive any further before your vehicle eventually won't fit.
Okay, so it's not a road anymore. That just makes it not
that was
a road,
a weird.
right?
I don't know. It was a weird description.
Well,
of
at a certain point, there's just a line drawn where it's like at that point that your vehicle no longer fits. It's not a road.
It's not
anymore.
a road. You're just driving on the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a bike path.
Yeah. It is said that when this road narrows the most, you'll come upon an old rickety
when it's
bridge.
not when it's at its most not being a road.
When it becomes a bike trail. And this old rickety bridge has been lost to the wear and tear of time, and that's when the feeling sets in. A feeling of unsettling dread, sadness, and the overwhelming sense that someone is watching you.
Now, this doesn't really work for people who are always feeling unsettling dread and sadness.
Which is me.
Their entire lives, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, because I just, at a certain point, and if you're paranoid too, I mean, you don't really feel anything here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you've experienced this, you will have felt what the people of Walhalla have been whispering about for decades. The urban legend they've come to call White Lady Lane.
Creative.
I know. One of the most agreed upon versions of this urban legend goes like this, because there's like about 3 versions of this.
Okay, and now Walhalla?
Walhalla.
That's Walhalla.
Yeah.
That's a town in North Dakota?
That's also the and it's also the place where like Thor and Odin live, I believe.
I think that's Valhalla.
Oh.
Yeah. Now I get it. It's hard because like one's in North Dakota and the other one's
in Asgard.
Space? I don't know.
Doesn't matter. One day, a Syrian peddler by the name of Sam Khalil came through to the North Dakota countryside in his wagon. One day, he came across the town of Leroy, North Dakota. There, he met 16-year-old Anna Story, and immediately the man fell in love.
No. Oh, God. How old was he?
Oh, he was probably like 45.
Oh, gross.
It was the 1880s.
It's
not
the
okay.
Scariest part
but
of the story.
For me, it was, yeah. It wasn't long before the man went to her parents to ask for Anna's hand in marriage. Her mother denied the request, thankfully. But just kidding, because Khalil bargained with the woman, showing off the contents of his wagon, and a deal was struck. You just guessed it. Yes, I know. I was trying so hard to not laugh because you nailed it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
Khalil would give Anna's mother everything he had, and in a year's time, he could return and marry the young girl.
Wait, a year's time?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird that she was like, yeah, give me everything you got. In a year, you can come have my daughter. And Too bad, because when Sam returned a year later to finally claim what he desperately desired, he was met with a closed door. He had been duped by Story's mother. In a fit of anger, Sam entered the Story house and crept to Anna's room. Once he made certain it was she who lay in the bed before him, he drew his pistol and shot her dead in her sleep.
Wait, the 16-year-old? Well,
Yeah.
the 17-year-old now?
Yeah. The legend pretty much ends there, and it said that young Anna was not ready to die, and her spirit wandered into the deep, dark wilderness of the Teetralt Woods, where she now resides in her restless afterlife. Yeah, so here was my issue, my beef with this. Why not kill the mom? She's the one that you know what I mean?
Yeah, what are the, well,
I'm so mad your mom won't let me marry you, so I'm going to shoot you.
No, because the girl was like, oh, God, please, Mom, do
Mom,
anything
please, no.
to not marry me to this man.
Please.
And she was like, okay, honey, I'll do that, but we're also going to steal his wagon.
What?
Yeah. No, because...
Look, I love you, but I need those housewares.
But no, he'll be dead in a year, and we'll get this wagon full of stuff.
And then she got shot. So this...
It's sad our daughter's dead, but we do still have that wagon full of stuff.
So this story does seem to be based in fact. There is an article that I found from November 10th of 1921 in the Ward County Independent, which was the official newspaper of Ward County and the city of Minot, North Dakota.
I think
That is...
Yeah. Good.
It doesn't matter. That is titled Pembina Peddler Kills Girl and Then Attempts Suicide.
Pembina?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Is it like a racist thing? Oh my gosh, I should have checked. Or is it from where he was from?
Pembina is... Yeah, that's where he's from.
Oh, thank God.
It's a town in North Dakota as well.
Oh, thank God.
It does sound like a
I thought it was going to be like a slur for Syrians, and I was like, oh,
Pembina
no.
comes over here and murders her daughter.
So the details of the event of the night are very similar in the actual article to the legend, with the only differences being that in real life, Khalil seems to have been staying with the family.
Creepy.
And invited in, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that old-timey thing.
Yeah, the
where
old-timey
guy
thing
was
where
like, I'm traveling, and they're just like, well, why don't you stay
Why
in
don't
our
you just
house,
live with us for a little bit?
stranger?
And
Is that a pain on your wagon?
so he seems to have been staying with the family, and he killed Anna out of jealousy after she had been romantically pursued by a young man. And after
The nerve.
I know
The nerve of this girl.
After shooting her, it seems that he also shot the mother in the jaw, and then proceeded to attempt suicide twice. The mom didn't die, by the way. She ran to the police half a mile away. It's crazy.
This is nuts.
People in the late 1800s had a lot more perseverance and dedication than I do now.
Are you kidding me? If I got shot in the jaw...
I would just lay down.
I'd just be like, could you...
Can you hit me in the... Shoot me in the head. Finish me off, please. I don't want to live with a broken jaw.
Yeah.
A fucked up jaw, doesn't matter.
Terrible.
And
they didn't even have medicine. It's not like they could have fixed her jaw.
They probably just
she
had
was
a bird
out
peck
with,
at it.
Her tongue was just the rest of her life was just hanging down.
Yeah.
Where her chin should be.
Yeah. So after he shot the mother in the jaw, he proceeded to attempt suicide twice. So once by putting a gun to his head, which ended up not firing, and then the second time he tried to slash his throat, but found that his knife was too dull. And he managed to...
I don't even think he really wanted to kill himself.
He managed to cut his throat, and he was bleeding out when the authorities arrived, but they got there in time to where he ended up
Where was
living.
the dad at?
I don't know. I don't think the dad existed because he's not mentioned. So at all.
He was just reading a paper in the lounge. What's going on?
That's him looking up just to see what's happening. Damn kids.
Shakes his head. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's nuts. So what?
Yeah.
What? That was...
Yeah,
okay.
Isn't that one crazy?
That is insane. So he shot the daughter.
Shot her in her sleep just because...
Right.
So it seems like this man...
They had the ramrod pistols?
I don't know.
Because that's even... No,
No. It was 1921.
Oh,
so,
okay. Well, what? Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 1800s. No, it was 1921.
It was the 20s?
Holy shit!
Wait a minute. So
but it's North Dakota, so it might as well just have been 1880.
That changes everything. The dad's got a fedora and a suit on, and everyone's like, "Oh, what you going there, dame? Huh? You got a 16-year-old daughter? I'd sure love to shack up with her for the night. You're creepy."
Yeah. So it seems like so basically what happened was he had a crush on he was a pedophile who had this crush on this underage girl, and then when a boy her age was like, "Hey, why don't we date?"
hey, Anna, did you want to go to the dance, baby?
And she was like, yeah, sure. And then he was like, I'm going to kill you. And they were like, huh? And then he shot them.
I'm going to kill you. Sorry, did you say something?
Did you say you were going to kill us?
No, I was going to.
Oh, okay.
Just going to kill you.
So that's the story. It's crazy, huh?
Insane. But also, I mean, even the ghost part of it, it's like, well, she wasn't ready to die, so yeah, she just like, fucked off into the woods.
Yeah, she didn't even haunt the house. She was like, oh.
And then she went to a bridge 2 miles away, and now she just makes people feel sad and weird when they show up there.
Well, and then it's also the thing about this is so there's a thing called the white lady or the lady in white phenomenon or the bride in white or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like a road, like you'll be driving down an abandoned road or like not an abandoned road because no roads are abandoned, but you'll be driving down like a country road and you see a woman in white and then she's in the back of your car. But
aren't those normally like scorned mothers?
It's whatever. It can be.
As long as it's just a woman that died.
Yeah, that's all it has to be is the lady in white can be like, most of the time it's any woman that was like wronged, killed in a romantic due to a romantic like thing, you know what I mean?
God, just in the 20s too, they're just like these women when they die, they just can't stay dead. They always got
classic woman, you know what I'm saying?
Coming back,
even in death, they gotta nag us.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Anyway, but it's crazy that it's actually based in something. I don't know that Okay, so for me, I think it's kooky. I think the actual story is like the historical side of it is kind of spooky because it's crazy. Yeah. But I think the actual story itself of just like you drive. Sure, it's a rickety old bridge, so that's why it's scary.
It's so funny how disconnected the actual ghost sighting is to the murder that happened.
Yeah. So for me, I think it's kooky.
It's just like, how scary was that murder? Oh, it's pretty scary, but like, what if that 16-year-old ghost is now at this old bridge in a road? You know the old road that's not a road. At the
bike trail?
Yeah, I think there's a ghost there now, and I think it's her. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty standard ghost story, but yeah, the backstory to it is just nuts. I'm gonna say it's pretty, just because it has nothing to do with the actual murder. I'm going to say it's kooky too, just because it's like, it's so random.
It's just so disconnected.
Yeah.
Well, so the reason it's the bridge, right, is because the other version of the story is she hung herself from the bridge.
Why?
Because it's like, it's so weird that they're the same, it's still like
the same story characters, but different story?
It's two whole different stories. The other version is she was someone who was promised to like, an arranged marriage, basically, to this man she didn't want to marry. Uh-huh. She became pregnant. She had her child, and then she had her child, and the baby died in the crib, or it was stillborn. And after the wedding day, she was like so torn up over it that she went to the bridge and hung herself wearing her wedding dress. And that's why like the bridge is like the place or whatever.
That one seems much more generic. That one doesn't seem like a real story,
exactly.
But it does seem more like a better explanation for a ghost.
Anyway. There are many stories involving a gate to hell being located in a certain eerie location. Most people would think of a place outside of the U.S. That's been around for a long time.
Or has deep Christian roots.
Yes, exactly. But if you're from North Dakota, that's not the case because the gates of hell lie in the... Yeah. That's it. That's the legend.
I believe
Spooky.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, if you're from North Dakota, then the gates of hell lie in the ghost town of Tagus. North Dakota is riddled with small towns that were once prosperous, but now are nothing more than a few houses and dilapidated structures. Tagus is one of those towns. Founded in the 1900s, it is now mostly abandoned. According to legend, once the town of Tagus dissolved, the local Lutheran church became a place of worship for Satanists. So your people. Many believe that the Satanists were mysteriously drawn to worship there because of the powerful energy emitted from the town. Before the church was burned down in 2001 by vandals, it was said that it housed an upside-down cross and bore the mark of Satan upon the door.
Well, every church has an upside-down cross that just isn't upside down yet.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's true.
Yes,
right?
I guess
every
you're right.
church, you don't make an upside-down cross. You just turn a regular cross upside down.
It is said that underneath the floorboard laid a stairway to hell, which the floorboards, not floorboard, under one floorboard.
Whoa, Frank, hey, watch you step there. There's a portal to hell underneath that. I know they're loose. They're getting creaky. We got to replace them. Yeah, no, you'd think we would have like built something above this gate to hell that was a little bit thicker, but no, that's just we just put those boards over it.
So according to the legend, the stairway still remains buried under the earth where the church laid. And if you stand in the right spot, you can hear the screams of the souls condemned to eternal perdition. Many people have reported experiencing very strange phenomenon in the abandoned town. Some report encounters with hellhounds, being greeted by aggressive barking dogs who snap at them after seemingly appearing from thin air. Yeah,
those are just feral dogs.
Yep, that's what I was thinking too.
Those are just hungry and rabid dogs. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm pretty sure that screaming you hear is just like
anybody that lives out there that's like, oh my god, we don't have Wi-Fi.
Get me out of the state.
Yeah, I think that's just the person who's there from North Dakota. That's just their inner thoughts.
There's a
we say as we live in Iowa.
Hey, listen.
Hey, it's not North Dakota.
I'm allowed to do whatever I want. Okay, I'm a big boy. I'm allowed. I'll take shots at North Dakota if I want to take shots at North Dakota.
I will fight the 5 people that live in North Dakota.
All 5 of them. And I'll have a pack of feral dogs with me, too.
Another thing that... So these dogs will appear out of thin air. Other people report being chased out of town by a car, being driven insanely fast and being shot at, or meeting a stranger who offers to give them a tour and then seems to lead them astray, only to disappear when they are paying attention. Other strange encounters.
How nefarious.
Yeah, right?
This just sounds like it's one guy that's just like,
Well, that's what a lot of the research suggested, because there is still some people that live there.
Right. Which also, honestly, I want to visit this town now. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
So the research suggested that it might just be the people that live there just being sick of people coming, so they play pranks on people.
Yeah, that's great.
Another strange encounter is a glowing green gravestone, a ghost train chugging through the town, or hearing noises and seeing apparitions through the windows of the abandoned building.
I'm sorry, is a ghost train a train operated by ghosts, or is it like an entire train that's
It's a train that got killed. According to the website Ghosts of North Dakota, the Tagus rumors are just rumors, and the town's reputation was carried on in an urban legend that spread, and quickly. In the 80s, about 300 young people stormed the town intent on some Halloween fun, but a sheriff stopped their plan. So that's an actual thing that happened in like the 80s. Apparently 300 like teens from like neighboring towns were like, let's go fuck shit up in Tagus. And they were just, and then like, I guess someone tipped off.
One sheriff was like, don't do that. And they were like, okay.
Oh man. No, yeah. So, I guess some narc snitched and,
well, no, it's not even that a narc. It's 300 teenagers. You think they weren't like,
I imagine them also just stampeding in.
We're going to go down to Tagus. You want to come to Tagus with us? Let's go down to Tagus.
So that's the story of Tagus. I don't know. For me, Tagus is just kooky because it's just any other ghost town. And then it's not even any other ghost town, right? It could have been cool if it was just the Gates of Hell thing.
Sure.
And then they were like, and then there's also hellhounds. And sometimes the walls, they ooze green slime. That's, you know what I mean?
There's a guy he'll try to drive fast at you.
Yeah, the ghost, it's the ghost car,
walk up on a building, you're fine.
Ghost train, you know, the disappearing, like...
Ghost dogs.
Yeah, so to me, it was just like,
and then
they got really ambitious with the legend.
There's Ted, the guy that'll like be like, follow me, and then he'll just like turn a corner really fast, and you'll be like, wait, where'd he go?
But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Is it spooky or kooky?
I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah?
Like, I'm into it.
I like the Gates of Hell bit.
I'm just like ghost towns.
Ghost towns are fun.
So I'm into it. I like it.
So it's spooky for you?
I think it's spooky, yeah, because I'd love to go there.
Okay.
You know, I'm mad the church is gone.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
But also, so the church burned down in 2001.
Uh-huh.
Did they find the hole?
No.
Oh,
there's
okay.
There's like a cement plaque now where the church used to stand.
Uh-huh.
So the hell, I guess the hole would be under like it would have been like the church was built on
just under a floorboard.
No, not like literally. No, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna say it's spooky. I like that story.
Okay,
that one's fun.
I think this is the last one from North Dakota. There are many stories out there of prehistoric creatures surviving into the modern era to terrorize locals unfortunate enough to have set up shop in their territory. You know, Nessie, Yetis, Bigfoot, that kind of stuff.
Was this prehistoric?
Yes, this is. Yeah.
Well, but Yetis aren't.
Well, they're like some believe that they're descended of the giant ape species that crossed over from Russia in the Ice Age. I think
knows.
it's Gigantropithecus.
Oh, you just watched the Jungle Book.
Yeah. So
It's Gigantopithecus.
one such tale is the story of the cryptid known as the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird. The Thunderbird is a gigantic flying beast named such because of the beating of its wings is said to mimic the sound of thunder, and in some iterations of the legend, it can actually cause storms by pulling clouds together with the flapping of its wings.
Oh, okay.
The legend seems to originate with the native people of the United States. Native tribes all across America have stories depicting enormous birds of prey. Good movie. Thunderbirds are said to attack people on occasion and even eat pets and small children. According to a report from About Paranormal, an Air Force security member in North Dakota stopped to have a smoke in 2009 when he saw what he at first thought was a hang glider drifting across the starry sky. When he grabbed his night vision gear, he realized that glider was a bird.
Wait a minute.
He just had night vision gear on him.
They don't have that. Listen, I'm not an Army guy.
Are you in the Air Force?
I'm not. I'm
okay,
not
then
in the Air Force.
Shut up.
But
Shut
I do
up.
have a buddy in the Marines, and
He's in the Marines. It's a whole different thing.
I'm 100% sure that if the Marines, I would believe like a little bit more that they might have night vision goggles. This guy wasn't just like, oh, I better get back to my dormitory and grab my night vision goggles.
So he grabbed his night vision gear. He realized the glider was a bird with a wingspan of about 20 feet. It flapped its wings and drifted out of sight. Not surprisingly, he never reported his sighting to the Air Force. Descriptions of these beasts differ from resembling large condors or the prehistoric teratorns, which are just basically giant vultures, to just straight up being pterodactyls. Some scientists believe that these encounters can just be chalked up to misidentification of what could be perhaps a rare type of eagle or condor.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's what it is.
Yeah, probably.
Guy was just like, I saw a giant
Eagles are big.
bird.
People forget how fucking big they are.
I know, yeah.
They have like, what is it, like a 6 foot wingspan? Like
Probably.
6-7 feet?
Dude, they're giant animals.
Because I always think like an eagle, like this, but no, they're fucking
massive.
Yeah.
They're massive
Yeah,
creatures.
they're big. Yeah.
And this guy, well, first off, listen, I got
What was
questions.
he smoking?
No, not even that. It's just like, how far away?
Acid laced cigarette.
How far away was the bird from where he was that he was able to like look at it and be like, oh, that's a 20-foot wingspan. I can tell.
That's definitely a 20-foot wingspan. It's going about 134 miles per hour.
He's in the Air Force.
Yeah.
It was probably just a plane. I mean, whatever. This guy's an idiot. I don't believe this. This one's dumb.
Okay, now we traveled to... okay, so it's kooky.
Yeah, it's kooky. It's dumb.
It's fun. As far as cryptids go, Thunderbirds are fun. I think they are. I really do think they are.
I don't even think they're that fun. I don't
Because it's just like a giant fucking bird that eats kids, you know?
I mean, sure.
It's kind of fun for me.
I guess.
But I think it is kooky.
Thunderbird part of it. The fact that it's like...
I think it's a cool-ass name.
Yeah, it is, but like, you really think that like a bird flapping its wings is going to sound like thunder?
No, it'd have to be a giant-ass bird.
That would have to be like a bird that could like span like a wingspan of a state.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah. Okay, now we travel directly down to South Dakota. Legends of shadow people have become increasingly popular over the past decade.
Oh, yeah, no, I've actually heard of shadow people, and I do 100% believe in them. Every day around noon,
damn it.
I will be walking around, and I'll turn around, and there's one of them connected to my feet, always right behind where the sun is.
Tales of tall, slender figures who push people to death when they aren't claiming lives themselves. The most popular that comes to mind is that of Slender Man. Although he's technically not a shadow person, but he's, but long before Slender Man swept the internet, another terrifying slender figure haunted the dreams of Native American children since, at the very least, 1974. That's like the earliest that it was documented, but this specific one, okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah, you're fine.
Walking Sam is the name of this. Walking Sam is described as this is okay. It's like a traditional
He's
name
tall.
for it.
Oh, that's a walking Sam over there. Look at this big gold walking Sam coming down at us.
Walking Sam is described as a tall, thin, almost skeletal-like man. dark as night. He wears a top hat and the souls of his victims dangling from his arms.
Wait, what does that look like?
It just looks like little people, basically. I can show you a picture.
Yeah, I would love that, actually. That would be amazing. I just... it's so... I don't know. I get it, because tall people are creepy, but there was just a guy named Sam walking around, and he was like, oh, that does just look like little people. But he was just like, there's a tall guy named Sam who had a top hat because, like, his mom gave him a top hat when he was little.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh.
This is a Boo Radley situation from To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I was just trying to
It's just Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because he's fucking tall. Him or Yao Ming.
Those are your great references.
Thank you.
Solid references.
Thank you. Walking Sam has his roots in Native American lore. He's closely connected to Stick Indians, so that's what. So Stick Indians, like, they go back to like 1800s or whatever. Like you can trace them back through Native American folklore.
Those are just tall Native Americans,
basically. But Walking Sam is his earliest appearance in anything is 1974.
Gotcha. So we're specifically talking about Sam.
Walking Sam, yeah.
Yeah.
Stick Indians are believed to be malevolent, dangerous beings that live in the forest. Stick Indians are said to mostly keep to themselves and only act out when provoked. Believed to be
so this
vindictive.
was definitely just cowboys and settlers saw Native Americans in the woods, and then they started throwing rocks at them, and they're like, "Oh,
holy
shit! Sure don't like being provoked.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they were 7 feet tall, and they were so scary. And when I tried to yell at them for taking my stuff, then they got all mad at me, and it was scary. It's like it was clearly just a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick Indians are said to mostly keep to themselves and only act out when provoked. Believed to be vindictive, they seek revenge whenever they are crossed. They have powers of...
just Native Americans again.
Yeah. They have powers of mental persuasion, allowing them to induce dread, confusion, anxiety, hypnotize, or even cause instant insanity in humans.
I just imagine the stupid settlers they just clearly made a tribe of Native Americans mad and were just like, they confused us with mind powers.
But Native Americans came up with this legend themselves.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just imagining it was like white people that moved in.
I wouldn't put it past white settlers.
They just rushed into a territory where Native people were already living, and then
or maybe Native Americans made this to scare white settlers.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Don't fuck with us or we'll get the Stick Indians down here.
You don't want to get my bigger brother out here.
Sam. Yeah, so they have like mental powers.
Gotcha.
Walking Sam is more than just a story, fable, or legend to the and I feel so bad about about mentioning any of these names because I'm sure I'm going to say them wrong. But to the Oglala Sioux on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota, he is real, and in 2015 he reminded the people that he would not be forgotten.
Don't forget about me.
As of 2015, the reservation had a population of just under 17,000. From December of the previous year up until May, there was a reported 103 suicide attempts on the reservation. 9 people between the ages of 12 and 24 were successful. Another witness came forward claiming that over a 3-month period, the attempted suicide rate was as high as 241. So this is actual facts. There was actual, like a 241.
I'm just gonna say 9 out of 103 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, it's pretty
right?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Walking Sam is particularly malevolent compared to the other Stick people because of the way he tried to get at his victims. He would supposedly approach you and then find ways to tell you were not worthy of life. So like any bully that I've ever had.
This is just depression?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've got...
No. So actually a lot of people think that this might just be a metaphor for like depression.
Walking Mason is all around me too.
You will feel the death in the air around you and you will hear voices in your head telling you that you no longer deserve to be alive. This will continue until he convinces you to take your own life.
Okay, so this is just old people. This is in the 70s before depression was a wide-known thing. They were just like,
you got that Walking Sam in your head.
We live in South Dakota. I just want to die all the time. That's right, South Dakota. You're not safe either. Neither are the Dakotas. That's
hot
right.
take.
Yeah.
In particular, his favorite prey is young people, even children, who are particularly susceptible. It's one. This is one of the words that I can't say. It's susceptible, and just as many youths are sharing suicide-related content online, they also seem they are also seen to be trying to commit suicide in groups. Elders and parents have found numerous nooses, mainly unused, hung from trees. This is in the reservation where this is reported.
Okay.
Teachers have caught wind of it and put a stop to a group of girls who had pledged to kill themselves together. Frighteningly, many of these efforts to stop group suicides have come just in the nick of time. In one case, a pastor for the tribe named John Two Bulls became aware that a group suicide was planned in the nearby woods. He gathered other adults and rushed to the scene, where he was able to take down the nooses the teens had already hung, and sat and counseled the youths who were already there to commit the act. Luckily, he and other adults stopped anyone from killing themselves, but it got so bad that the Oglala Sioux Tribe president, John Yellowbird Steele, declared a state of emergency. I think I like Walking Sam more than Slender Man, because he just reminds me of like his look reminds me of the voodoo villain from Princess Frog.
Yeah,
the Voodoo Man.
I think he just looks
who's played by The Thing.
Keith
David. Yeah.
He's great.
He's great. Yeah, he is.
But no, I think it's good. I liked him. He reminds me just a lot of Jack Skellington, obviously.
Yes. This one's spooky for me. What makes it spooky is
it's just depression.
It's just depression, but also like for me it's spooky.
I'd say it's spooky too. It's funny.
Oh, also I forgot to mention, but he's reported like you hear whistling first. You just kind of ominous whistling, and that's when it's like, hey, it's me, Walking Sam. You want to die?
Walking Sam.
In Rapid City. Oh, this one is fun. This one was fun. Okay, so in Rapid City stands a building that is said to be haunted by the spirit of one of its former residents, a man with hooks for hands. The story of Hooky Jack, as he is called, is an interesting one. He was a very real man by the name of John Leary, who lost both his arms and an eye in a freak accident while working in the mines in the 1800s, and he was given 2 hooks to replace the hands he lost.
Geez, Jack. Jesus, Jack. Oh, man. Oh, dude, that accident really took a toll on you. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
We're going to have to give you a new nickname. I just don't think that fully functioning Jack is a good nickname anymore.
Okay, yeah, so after the accident, this is what's incredible about this man. Even after the accident, he became a policeman for the city. And it was known as its watchman because he was like a night watchman. So he would go door to door at night looking for lights that weren't meant to be on, tugging at door with his hook hands to ensure they were locked.
Christ, Jack, you scared me so badly. What are you doing here?
Just doing my job.
What? Stop.
Click, 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 click.
Stop clicking.
Oh yeah, so that's the thing. They weren't just like hooks like Captain Hook style. Yeah, so hooks? It was like this. It actually was an ingenious thing for its time, where like it like went around his back, and with the movement of his shoulder, they opened and closed. Yeah, so he could like actually grab things. So what he would do, this was the thing that I read.
Why would they make this terrifying monster?
I don't know. I'll show you a picture of him. So this thing that I found.
Where RoboCop came from?
Yes, probably. Whoa, they're both cops.
That's why.
Yes. Okay, so after his wife died and his kids died, it's real sad.
Oh God.
He like took a liking to this girl that worked at this at this town. No, she was nice. But what was funny, and I guess this is kind of mean, he would go to the diner and get her a mug of coffee and carefully carry it to where she worked so she could have a coffee break. But I just imagine him like, damn it. It's like a claw machine, you know? Like sometimes you play a claw machine and how hard it is to fucking grab something? Anyway, that's probably mean to people who are amputees.
I brought you a cup of coffee today again. Oh, Jack, it's great, but I love it, Jack, but it's spilled. There's no coffee left. It's just an empty mug.
So, after 41 years on the force, his life had a tragic end. As the hook ended,
how old was he when he got?
Oh, I don't know. He died in 1926.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Anyway, so after 41 years on the force, his life had a tragic end, as the hook-handed man was killed after being struck by a car in downtown Rapid City in 1926. It's the 20s, so you know they were going like 100 miles per hour.
We killed Hooky Jack.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh no! Who did you hit? Oh my God, it's Hooky Jack. Fuck.
No, it's okay. Maybe we could just take his legs off and then he can be Peggy Jack.
Oh my God, the hooks are destroyed. Shit.
No.
And it seems that he now haunts the building on 7th Street that is now known as Sports Rock Tavern. It used to be called like Hooky Jack's. It was like a bar.
That's a better
But
name.
when he lived there, I think I don't know what it was. It must have just been a regular
Hooky Jack's is a
building.
great name for a bar.
I know, and then they renamed it Sports Rock Tavern. But
That's
according to
lame.
legend, Hooky Jack used to live on the 3rd floor of the building, a place some employees won't even go during the day, a place some say he never left. Security camera footage has shown floating orbs and flashing lights on some nights when no one is in the building.
Oh, that's just the lights. Catching
Customers
a glare
and
off his hooks.
employees say they see the billiards balls move by themselves and hear footsteps on the floor above them.
Well, the real question is, do they move like smoothly, or do they move like they're getting knocked around by a bunch of hooks?
Chairs and tables seem to move on their own, and when employees are alone at night, voices can occasionally be heard. Other reports of Jack's presence come from bartenders who said that they have seen apparitions out of the corner of their eye settle up to the bar for a drink. I tried to find video footage of
Security footage?
I couldn't find anything. I just found a tour of the old building.
That's again. Why is these ghosts? I just don't understand. This is why
It's
ghosts
like
are
a
dumb.
really interesting story, and well, this is very similar to the White Lady Lane thing, where it's a very
Yeah.
interesting story, and then the ghost part has just nothing to it.
So, he seemed like he was a great dude.
Yeah.
He
Well,
seems
that's the
like
thing is
such a
people
great
have,
dude.
have
What's he doing as a ghost, being mean to
well,
people?
so he isn't being to people. People have reported that
Oh.
he's still protecting the building, so he's still doing his job.
he's still just hooking around.
He's still just
At nights, we'll put the glasses away, and we think they're clinking, but it turns out it's just Hooky Jack's hooks. Going click, click, click.
yeah. I don't know, spooky or kooky.
That's spooky. I love it.
I think it is.
It's
too.
pretty good.
I just love that there was a man like this that existed.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
If there were gonna be a ghost, I sure believe it's gonna be the guy who lost an eye and 2 arms, and then just like, I'm
So
not
you want to
dead
know the
yet.
craziest thing? The way it happened, they were moving around dynamite that was not even lit. Like they were just moving it. And it was frozen too because it was so cold. It was frozen
Right,
over.
yeah.
They were moving it and it randomly went off while they were fucking moving it. And that's how he lost his arms.
Oh, we can't call
Yeah.
you Dynamite Moving Jack anymore.
I'll have to call you Hooky Jack.
Hooky Jack.
He had a brother who went into prostitution.
Hooker John.
Hooker John, yeah. In South Dakota, there's a state park that is said to house evil itself.
Hi, I'm evil.
Hey, welcome to my house. Named Sica, I think that's how it's, Sica Hollow State Park. It has long been the subject of myths and urban legends. The name Sica actually translates to evil or bad, and was named this by the Native Americans who first visited the location. Numerous Sioux legends recall mysterious happenings here. The local Dakota believe this to be the reason for the red-tinted water that gushed out of the springs in Sica Hollow.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
You shouldn't have that.
No. Apparently, it's a mineral thing, I guess. Scientifically, just a mineral thing.
Fair enough.
As time passed, more and more whites settled the area, and mythical stories about the Hollow Park grew. It was later believed that some sort of beast or Bigfoot-type man inhabited the dense woods. This fear came to a boiling point when several people disappeared at Sica Hollow in the 1970s. One of the people who joined the hunting, of the many people who joined the hunting parties for the missing persons, several who participated openly admitted that they were looking for some sort of beast. Such an idea was supported by recent local sightings of something apparently fitting that description. Others thought there might be a bear loose in Sica Hollow, but of beast, bear, or the missing persons, nothing was found, or so the legend goes. Because I was not able to find any evidence of documented disappearances in that area, and other people who did a lot of research, way more than me, couldn't either. I thought that's what interested me in this whole thing, was that people were just disappearing. Couldn't find anything on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's kooky because
Yeah. Also, again, this is just like the Hellgates thing, where it could have been one thing, and they were like, and Bigfoot's also there, and the walls are oozing green.
no, the water's gushing red. Oh, that's just minerals.
That's just how it just does that.
No, I think that's really interesting. I just don't like. There's the fact that there's no evidence of an actual beast. Like, yeah, like if there was if there was any explanation for the missing persons or even evidence of it, I think I'd like it more. But because it's just like these people disappeared, who did? It was John and Sally.
You saw it?
And Fred. They're just gone.
So what I like about this story also is the fact that it was like, yeah, the people who joined the search party were like, oh, we're just here to look for a fucking beast. Like, they show up to join the search party for missing people, and they've got, a I Believe in Bigfoot shirt on and a gun and a net and
let's find these kids, everybody, right?
Like trail cameras and like, hunting, finding Bigfoot. They just show up with like a whole fucking team, like all that stuff.
Right.
Wait, what's all that for? Oh.
We're going to find these kids.
It's for the kids. But it says Bigfoot Tracker 1000. It helps you find people. Like it's searching for feet. Like big feet. Didn't one of the kids have size 12 shoes?
No.
Oh.
Get out of here.
Ah, come on.
Come
on.
Leave. Are you going to help?
We are definitely going to help find something there.
Is it the kids? Hey, man, we got parents crying for their lost children over here.
But we want to find the Bigfoot.
God, no one... Listen, are you going to at least let us know if we find a kid?
Yeah.
You promise?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to, take pictures of it and stuff.
One more thing. If you see a kid, it's like dangling off a cliff, but like you heard a rustling, just a rustling.
Go for the rustling.
Okay, so you can't help.
Yeah, so I think kooky for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely kooky.
Okay. Well, then it's time to head to the northeast and stop in good old Minnesota. There is a small town in Ottertail County, Minnesota, by the name of Vergas. I think it's Vergas.
I think it's
but
Vergas.
Here's
what
the thing,
that?
right? In Spanish, Vergas. I was laughing while writing this entire thing.
Oh, I bet.
It means like penis. Like it's another word for like verga is how you would say like cock or penis.
That's
you know
really
what I mean?
Funny. Okay.
Or it also is like vete a la verga, like go fuck yourself. But so every time I read that name, I just laughed.
Yeah, it's definitely Vergas.
No, it is Vergas. The town has a population of just above 300 people. And for the past 600, hang on, it's because I started thinking 300 people. I think that's about the population of South Dakota. And for the past 60 years, got him. Urban legend has floated around the area. The legend of the hairy man of Vergas Trail.
Oh, that was just me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Described as being 8 feet tall, having long and straggly hair, and a musty smell, and always being barefoot, he was also often blamed for the death of animals around the area. Claims of his existence started in the 60s and peaked in the 70s, but then tapered off after the 80s. Some people and families in the area say it was a legend, while others claimed it was an old hermit who lived in the woods and wasn't keen on kids wandering his land. The most infamous encounter with a hairy man came from a man named Ken Zitzo. Zitzo returned from driving in the woods one night with dents in his car's hood, and claimed it was from the hairy man jumping in front of the
Zitzo
vehicle.
just murdered a person. He definitely just ran a person over and was like, Jesus, there's blood and dents all over your car. Oh, it's the hairy man.
Zitzo, why do you have blood on your hands? Oh, the hairy man,
he jumped on the car. That's why there's dents and hair on it.
Anyway. So, so he said that it was the hairy man jumping on his car. Another encounter came from Cheryl Hansen, who claimed to have seen the hairy man as a kid. She said, quote, "We were snowboarding around and around this old cabin we found, and all of a sudden a beast-like creature popped out of the cabin holding a huge stick. It had very broad shoulders and as I was trying to rationalize what it was. But what really stood out to me is it was barefoot in the snow." Cheryl says she knows what she saw that day and it wasn't human. A human-like skull is said to have been discovered on the trail by a private citizen who refused to turn it over to the authorities.
Right.
So no one knows if it was animal or human or a combination of both.
You know, I actually
2 things.
I actually found a skull. It was just a dude hitting on some girl at a bar.
Yeah.
I actually found the skull.
I actually found the Vergas hairy man skull.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, can I see it?
No, because if I show it to you, the cops are gonna want it, and then they're gonna cover it up.
Well, why would they do that?
The government's out to get us and turning the frogs gay and stuff.
What? I'm sorry. What did you say your name was?
My name's Alex Jones. It's probably just a homeless guy living in a cabin in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of here, your kids.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So kooky for
but
me.
he was barefoot. Yeah, because he couldn't afford shoes.
Yeah, because he's fucking homeless.
And that's what happened. And
but he was hairy. Yeah, because he's fucking homeless.
She was like, I know what I saw.
I know what I saw, but I don't know what I saw. I don't really know what it
Cheryl,
was.
that sounds like it was just a homeless man. No, he was 8 feet tall and had broad shoulders. I don't think so. I think you just were scared and you were a child.
Also,
so
weren't
it
you
looked
a
lot
kid?
bigger than you.
Yeah,
you
my
were a
dad
kid.
looked 7 feet tall to me when I was a kid,
Right.
and he's 5'7".
Yeah.
Kooky for me, I think.
Oh, absolutely. That's just a dude. That's just a homeless man.
That's just a homeless man. In the northern woods of Minnesota is said to live a creature known as the Wendigo. This
Isn't it
creature.
Wendigo?
No, it is. So it. Okay. So there are 2 ways to spell it according to Native Americans, and it's the one with the E, or it's also spelled Windigo.
Okay.
Wendigo.
Oh, and that one's the Wendigo, and this is the.
No, they're
what?
both the same thing. But I'm just
Oh.
saying, I've heard it called both ways, so I never know.
Fair
you
enough.
can call it Wendigo. You can call it Wendigo. Doesn't matter.
Hey, I just want to know when I go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God,
Getting
get
out
out.
of
Just
this
leave. It's
podcast.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
This creature may appear as a beast with some characteristics of a human, or as a spirit who has possessed a human being and made them become monstrous. It is historically associated with cannibalism, murder, insatiable greed, and the cultural taboos against such behaviors. Known by several names, Wendigo, 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 and Wheatigo.
And Taika Waititi, the famous New Zealand director.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a Wendigo, and then I just changed my name to Waititi, and I started directing films.
Yeah. Do you want to eat this person with me?
No.
Ah, yeah, fair enough. All right. Each of them roughly translates to the evil spirit that devours mankind.
Sick.
Nice. This creature has long been known among the...
Algonquin.
that's what it is, okay. The Ojibwe, Eastern Cree, Salto, why did I write these? West Main Swampy Cree, Naskapi, and Innu peoples who have described him as giants, many times larger than human beings. Although descriptions can vary somewhat, common to all these cultures is the view that the Wendigo is a malevolent, cannibalistic, supernatural being that is strongly associated with winter, the north, coldness, famine, and starvation.
Okay, first off, all of those things are amazing. I love those things.
Yeah.
If I had a spirit, like a spirit board, you know how people have
Yeah.
spirit boards? Those, most of the cold and oh no, my brain stopped working.
Winter,
Winter,
north, coldness,
all
famine,
those
and
things
starvation.
would be on my spirit
They
board.
sound like the members of like a punk metal band.
Yeah. Okay, but also, here's my thing. So
Mm-hmm.
Wendigos aren't human, right?
So basically it's 2 things. It's either the belief that it's a spirit that possesses a human and forces you to eat human, like it's
Okay.
so like a lot of the times it's associated with like in the 1800s when people get like trapped because of snow and stuff.
Right.
And the belief was that the Wendigo spirit would possess them when they were most desperate, and it would lead them to eat other people, and that's how you became a Wendigo, right?
Okay.
It was because you were possessed by spirit, or you just ate another person, and that's what causes you to become a Wendigo. But what basically you start off as human, but you no longer are because it's the act of eating.
So you're
someone
really only
that
a
loses your
one-time
humanity.
cannibal.
Yes, but then you have to keep eating human meat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, listen, I'm not going to get into a whole thing here.
I was gonna
We
say this
all
was the
know-
one thing that I felt like you were gonna relate to.
Okay. I've got strong opinions about cannibalism, and I'm just going to throw it out here. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
And I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about it, so I'm just going to let you say
Murder
that.
is a
Oh,
terrible
God.
thing. This is all I'm saying. Murder is a terrible thing, and you should never murder or kill anybody. But I don't understand the taboo against cannibalism. Listen, maybe I'm a Wendigo. Maybe I'm a Wendigo.
I genuinely think out of all my friends, you would be the first.
Yeah, I love
We're
the
stranded for
cold.
5 hours, and then you're like, I think I got to eat you. I'm sorry.
I'm not going
like,
to kill
what?
you, though.
I know, you're...
It'd be more like Jeff died in the crash. I'm going to eat him.
Yeah.
Do you want some?
No, we're not going to eat him.
I'm going to eat him.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Get a bite in you.
Mason, we have sandwiches.
We can be Wendibros.
Yeah, but like, no.
We can be Wendibros.
Stop it.
Because I'm a Wendigo. You eat Jeff. You're a Wendigo. We're Wendibros.
According to the legends, a Wendigo is created whenever a human resorts to cannibalism to survive.
Cool.
Yeah, in the past, this occurred more often when Indians and settlers found themselves stranded in the bitter snows and ice of the North Woods. Sometimes stranded for days, any survivors might have felt compelled to cannibalize the dead in order to survive. Other versions of the legend cite that humans who displayed extreme greed, gluttony, and excess might also be possessed by a Wendigo.
Oh my God, Jose, am I a Wendigo?
I think you are. I really think
I'm
you
a
might be.
Wendigo.
I think you might
Jesus
be.
Christ, what happened?
A Wendigo allegedly made a number of appearances near a town called Roseau in northern Roseau?
Roseau. I think it's Roseau.
I think it is too. In northern Minnesota from the late 1800s to the 1920s. Each time it was reported, an unexpected death followed, and finally it was seen no more. Another documented case occurred in 1878 when a Plains Cree trapper from Alberta named Swift Runner suffered one of the worst cases known. Swift Runner was a trader with the Hudson's Bay Company who was married and the father of 6 children. In 1875, he served as a guide for the Northwest Mounted Police. During the winter of 1878 to 79, Swift Runner and his family were starving, along with numerous other Cree families. His eldest son was the first to die of starvation, and at some point, Swift Runner succumbed to Wendigo psychosis. So Wendigo psychosis is this belief. It was like a way for scientists and like psychologists to explain the whole Wendigo phenomenon. Basically, it's a belief that it's a sort of delusion that happens to people, where it happens to people that are shut in during winter and they don't have exposure to being outside or whatever.
Okay.
So it's kind of like cabin fever in a way.
Right.
And it's a belief that you start believing that you're becoming a Wendigo, and you get this fear of becoming a cannibal, but at the same time you think that you have to be human.
It sounds to me like it's a way of distancing yourself from doing something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have to eat a person. It's a way of saying like, I'm not going to eat this person, but I'm possessed by a Wendigo, and that's why I'm going to eat this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a way of like distancing yourself from like committing this act that some would say isn't even that big of a deal.
But Wendigo psychosis also occurs when you don't, according to the explanation, it occurs when you don't even have to eat a human. Like you can still have food, and you'd be like, oh my God, I'm becoming a Wendigo.
You're looking mighty tasty.
Yeah. And the thing with Wendigos, a lot of the time they don't eat people until they're dead. You know what I mean? It's someone who, so you would be a Wendigo. Yeah.
Nope, I'm not going to do it.
After his son, his oldest son passed away.
Due to
starvation, Swift Runner, he succumbed to Wendigo psychosis. And though emergency food supplies were available at Hudson's Bay Company post some 25 miles away, he did not attempt to travel there. Instead, he killed the remaining members of his family and consumed them.
That's not okay.
No.
You shouldn't kill people.
He eventually confessed and was executed by authorities at Fort Saskatchewan. I love that name, Saskatchewan.
That's a good name.
But even till the end, I was like, I was possessed by a Wendigo.
I was a Wendigo.
For me, it's spooky because I love the legend of the Wendigo. I think
amazing.
It's so cool.
It's
the Wendigo and Skinwalkers are like two of my favorite Native American folk
stories.
stories. I would love to see. So there's a great game, Until Dawn. I love that game. I know it's not your type of game. It's a very like choose your own adventure thing, and it features a Wendigo. That's like the main bad are these Wendigos, and they pull it off so well. Like the story of it.
Right.
But I think Wendigos would be a great movie monster, but just no one is ever going to be able to do it right.
Yeah,
you know
I
mean?
agree. I think you're right. Yeah. But they are super cool. I love them.
I think they're cool. So spooky for me.
One with me.
Maybe. We'll see. There is a conspiracy theory. This one is fun, okay? So there's a conspiracy theory in Minnesota and its surrounding neighboring states that the numerous accidental drowning cases that have happened involving college-aged men dating back to the late 90s are not accidents, but instead the work of a serial killer or killers. This theory was advanced by retired New York City detectives Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte.
Gannon sounds really familiar. Did he do something special as a cop?
Maybe. I mean, these guys got a lot of notoriety when they came up with this theory. So Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte, these two retired New York City detectives, and Dr. Lee Gilbertson, they're the ones who advanced this theory.
Okay.
So as recently as 2008, Gannon and Duarte were examining evidence going back to the late 1990s that they believe connects the deaths of 45 college-age males whose dead bodies were found in water in 11 states, often after leaving parties or bars where they were drinking. The men, according to the former detectives, often fit a profile of being popular, athletic, and good students, and most were white.
You know, the type of kids who, when drunk, would be like, I could totally swim through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as fun as this is, that's when it kind of starts to fall apart for me, this theory. And you'll see. It kind of falls apart, but it is fun.
Because I don't know how many people who I've gotten drunk and then been like, oh, I could do that. I could race over there.
Yes.
I could just run down the street. I mean, that just seems like,
Gannon and Duarte have theorized that the young men were all murdered, either by an individual or by an organized group of killers. The term smiley face became connected to the alleged murders when it was made public that Gannon and Duarte had discovered graffiti depicting a smiley face near locations where they think the killer dumped the bodies in at least a dozen of the cases. When 24-year-old William Hurley called his girlfriend the night of October 8th, 2009, all he wanted was to go home. The Navy veteran
water, I'm just saying.
Oh my God! Who had been attending a Boston Bruins home game, asked Claire Mahoney to pick him up early, explaining that he was tired from a long day of work as a greenskeeper. While on the phone with Mahoney, Hurley warned that his cell phone battery was low. When she asked for its exact location, someone in the background yelled 99 Nashua Street before the line went dead. Minutes later, Mahoney arrived at the address, but Hurley was nowhere to be found. 6 days later, his body was found in the Charles River. The cell phone from which he'd made that final call smashed nearby. Hurley's death was eventually ruled an undetermined drowning, with the police stating that they found no evidence of foul play. Yet people who were close to Hurley, including Claire Mahoney, have disputed these claims, pointing to his damaged cell phone as well as injuries indicating blunt force trauma and a toxicology report that found high levels of GHB, commonly known as a date rape drug. However, the FBI issued the following statement. So this is kind of where this theory kind of starts.
So this is, but this has got some real steam.
No,
it,
for
right?
sure. Yeah,
okay,
I think so.
Like I'm surprised how much like actual. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the FBI reviewed this is their statement. The FBI has reviewed the information about the victims provided by 2 retired police detectives, who have dubbed these incidents the Smiley Face murders.
Which also, by the way, good name for murders.
Yeah, I think so.
But just because like there's 6 smiley faces spray painted at 6 different places, that's a pretty common.
Exactly, and that's where it starts to fall apart.
thing.
That's So, and interviewed an individual who provided information to the detectives. To date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drownings. The FBI will continue to work with the local police in the affected areas to provide support as requested. So they're pretty much like, cool, nothing to back it up.
So here is my thought on this, though, and this might even... I would tend to believe that once this idea picked up steam, I wouldn't be surprised if like a very small percentage of these were actual murders. You know what I mean? Like I think that's plausible. I'm not saying that's for sure what happened, but if there were, that's like a thing that I could imagine is like someone did drown a guy and then like spray paint a smiley face on a wall. Yeah, so that's where so some of the stuff that kind of helped this theory stand, right, is that it was reported that the bodies were missing for 30, 40 days, but then the decomposition showed that they'd only been dead for 2 or 3 days. So that's interesting.
Weird.
Okay.
So that was a weird thing that they found. But again, these guys could not be credible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a belief that they might be doing this just for the publicity and for the money. But then also, again, the smiley faces were not the same design.
Right.
They were completely different looking smiley faces, and at the so-called location of the crime, when it's a drowning in a river, which a lot of these were, they can't really determine where the body was dumped. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
So the body could have ended down here, and there's a smiley face by it. Right. But it could have started 20 miles upstream. Right. Yeah. So that's where it kind of starts to fall apart.
They'd have to guess where the drop point was.
And there was a really interesting quote from one of the people who commented on one of the cases. I forget her name, but she was like, go to anywhere in the U.S. and within a 5-mile radius, you'll find a smiley face graffiti somewhere. But it's fun. I think it's a fun idea to think of like. It's an
interesting case.
It is weird that fucking all these guys are drowning. Like, but also they live in states with major bodies of water.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that it's the kind of case that I want to write my own fan fiction to, where this wannabe serial killer just starts murdering people and then takes credit for all these non-murders. You know what I mean? But. It's interesting.
Yeah. I think it's spooky for me because without the facts.
Every single cryptid and urban legend.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, this is where I was torn with this
science doesn't exist. How scary is this?
I don't know. I think it's spooky because it's fun, if maybe it is true. Because, again, it hasn't completely been refuted.
Right.
But it hasn't. But again, it's not 100% real. So I think it's spooky for me.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is. I'm gonna say it's neither.
Okay.
It's genuinely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure it's just dudes that got drunk and were like, I can swim.
I can swim.
You want to see how good I can swim?
I can swim Lake Erie. No, you can't.
No,
you can't.
Chad,
I can say.
Chad.
Lake Michigan has nothing on me. I'm gonna go swimming right
Chad, no, stop.
now.
Chad.
I'm gonna go swim. Oh my god! Every state has their strange cryptid. Some are just carbon copies of well-known myths, of a well-known myth, and just applied to the specific state.
But not Iowa's. Not large. Not Largefoot.
But some are just so uniquely strange that they stand out from anything else. Such is the case with Wisconsin's Rhinelander Hodag.
That's the badger, right?
No.
The mascot for Wisconsin University, just the badger, right?
Yeah.
It's just a giant badger that
Yeah.
wears a sweater.
Yeah. According to Wisconsin lore, the Rhinelander Hodag is a creature found. It just sounds like a Wisconsin thing to say. Hodag.
Oh, no, that sounds like a southern, like, we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned ride down to Hodag.
Have you ever seen that 70s show?
I have.
It sounds like something Bob Pinciotti would say. You know, he's always like, hey there, ho there.
Yeah.
He just,
Hodag.
Hodag.
That's a good point.
According to Wisconsin lore, the Rhinelander Hodag is a creature found in the northern area of the state, usually around the city of Rhinelander, hence the creature's name. The Hodag has a long tail with spears on it, a frog's head with an elephant's face, sharp claws, short and stumpy legs, and the back of a dinosaur.
I will say, I just looked this up, and it just looks like a dragon.
Yep. Its diet allegedly consists of white bulldogs.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
Hodag is
sorry.
reported to
Shut
be
up.
extinct.
Shut up. Shut up. What? It only eats white bulldogs?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this racist dog eating Hodag? It only eats
white dogs.
Bulldogs? No. You didn't say white dogs.
White bulldogs.
White bulldogs?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Is there enough?
Apparently enough.
How often
to
does it have
sustain
to eat?
I don't know. Okay, I didn't ask. I didn't call.
Don't understand. That's unsustainable.
The Hodag is reported to be extinct. As the last one was
really?
captured,
Okay.
Hang on. As the last one was captured and dynamited to death in the 1890s. So here's how it goes. Here's how it goes. Given their elusive nature, it is believed that there still may be other Hodags out there, though. The myth seems to have been perpetrated by Eugene Simeon Shepard, who first wrote of an encounter with a strange beast he described, how the creature, a terrible brute of a Hodag with the strength of an ox, the ferocity of a bear, and the cunning of a fox, tore apart the hunting dogs he and his friends tried to use to corner the beast. They shot the Hodag with heavy rifles and large bore squirt guns loaded with poisonous water, to no avail.
What cartoon nonsense was the source for this? I'm sorry. It only eats white bulldogs.
Uh-huh.
They killed it with a squirt gun of poison water?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does that even work?
Yeah. Finally, after hours of struggle, Shepard and his friends resorted to using dynamite to kill the beast. He seems to have been a Barnum type who, after this incident, after he said, that was the last of it, and we killed it, he was like, ladies and gentlemen, I have found another Hodag.
Hodag 2.
We call it Hodag 2, the Electric Boogaloo. And it was pretty much just, as you can imagine,
fake.
It was this fake animal that was made up of like different bits and shit.
Just sewn together.
Just a very Stan Pines from Gravity Falls kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he would have his sons puppeteer it and make it move and make noises. And so what he would do is he'd bring people into the tent and he'd be like, oh, behold, the terrifying Hodag. And then they'd be like, what? And then be like, okay, you got to get out of here because it's so dangerous. So he'd like
Don't look at it.
Exactly.
You can't look at it.
He'd let them look at it for like a minute and then he'd be like, get the fuck out.
Okay,
it's so
everyone's gotta
dangerous.
leave. You can't look at it. It'll turn you into stone if you look it in the eyes.
It got so big, though, that the Smithsonian was like, okay, we got to shut this shit down. So they sent someone, an expert, like an expert zoologist. He went there and he was like,
my name is Piff Smithington, and I am a Hodag expert.
Eventually, yeah, after the Smithsonian guy came through, people were like, oh, man, we were duped. And the Smithsonian guy was like, yeah, no shit.
Wisconsin, good God, guys, come on. You're really just like,
oh, Hodag.
You're saying the Hodag wasn't real.
The town where this thing took place, Still super proud of it. They have got like a...
Oh, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I would be too.
It's like a big touristy
It better
thing.
be their, like, they should be their high school's
It's their,
mascot.
it is.
Yes!
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
good job,
Yeah.
Wisconsin. You guys crushed it.
Yeah. For many of us, going to the doctor isn't a tough decision. We trust our physicians, trust that they know what they're doing, and that they aren't just psychopaths who made their way through medical school just to conduct insane experiments on their patients.
But let me introduce you to a mom Facebook group from Wisconsin who all believe that vaccinations are bad for your health.
No. Plus, let me introduce you to Glen Tucker. So the urban legend is basically the urban legend of a surgeon who would commit these horrible experiments on their patients.
Okay.
It's real.
Is this
Very
still
real,
in
man.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, this is in Wisconsin.
Okay,
It
what
was
town is this?
Huh?
Do you know what town this was?
I think it was Milwaukee because they called him like the
Oh.
Milwaukee
Murderer.
something like that. I don't remember. So Glen Tucker was a terrible plastic surgeon. In fact, he was worse than that. He was sadistically incompetent.
That's not true. I'm not incompetent. Look, I made a Hodag for that other guy.
Son of a bitch, you strike again, Glen Tucker. He left a trail of mangled patients behind him wherever he went. Like the man who came to see him with arm spasms and ended up having his arms amputated.
You're Hooky Jack now.
So this guy just created everything
Every
else on the
character,
list.
Yes.
Or the woman who went in for breast implants and somehow, against all odds and laws of physics, ended up with square breasts. This is legit.
Oh, okay. I mean, come on, but that's
Covered
cool,
in
though, right?
Frankenstein-like scars. So
Oh,
this guy is
no.
just a Frankenstein-like person.
I want to be honest with you, ma'am. I dropped my Rubik's Cube in the first one.
Oh, so
And
I felt real dumb.
I couldn't get it back
so-
out, so then I just put a Rubik's Cube in the other one, so now you've got squares. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Tucker's faults went far beyond just being a crappy doctor.
Yeah, I'll say thanks.
Take the story of Jan Lehman, who had nothing more than a broken nose when she came to see Tucker. Midway through surgery, she woke up to find the doctor wheeling her into a strangely dark and deserted operating room. She then passed out, but awoke again as Tucker brutally tore tubing from her nose,
Oh.
destroying her stitches.
Oh.
Later, after filing a complaint against Tucker, Lemon reported seeing him following her in his car. So, like, he was crazy.
I'm sorry. Square boobs didn't file a complaint?
Yeah, she was just cool with it. Again, she could play with a Rubik's Cube. It was fine.
Stop. You don't get a way in, Tucker.
Hey,
No.
I'm just, hey, come on. You've always wondered about square boobs. Come
No,
on.
I haven't.
You've
What?
always wanted to see what it was
No,
like.
you're going to jail. We're in a courtroom.
Judge, be
Yes.
honest with me.
Okay.
You ever thought about 3 boobs on a girl? I can make that happen. I can make that happen.
You're free to go.
Yeah!
Chuck us back on the streets, baby.
So, the complaints and lawsuits mounted, and then one day, Tucker tragically drowned in a boating accident. Except, of course, he didn't.
I just know he just got drunk. There was a smiley face spray painted on the wall over there.
He moved to Florida. He faked his death,
Cool.
moved to Florida, and then leaving numerous barely stitched together patients in his wake. And then it all caught up to him.
Wait, again in Florida? He like
no,
redid
just
it? Oh, okay.
he just left that all shit behind, went to Florida, like,
like every serial
yeah.
killer.
And then it eventually caught up to him. He killed his wife, but because it was catching up to him, so he killed his wife. And then himself. And to make it the most tragic part, he also killed his cat. Because he had mentioned to his neighbor that when he felt alone, that's when he would do it. Like when he would rather be, where he said like when he would feel age coming upon him, that's when he would take his life. And then he said, well, what, like his neighbor jokingly was like, well, what about your cat? And he's like, I'll take it first. So
Okay, so
Yeah.
this guy was just an idiot? What?
he was insane.
So I'm
He was
sorry.
a not as fun
But, like,
version
was
of
he-
Frankenstein.
Was he an actual, like, all these disasters that he did, was he an actual doctor that, like,
I
was
think he was.
choosing to do terrible things?
Yeah.
Or
No.
was he just, like, a
No.
dude
He
who just
seemed-
was like,
okay,
I'm
so
a doctor?
I think this guy could have been a serial killer, maybe.
Yeah. He
He's
sounds
very like
like
serial killer light.
Yeah.
I think he just genuinely was a nut who was like, who went through medical school and then was like, I kind of want to fuck around with people. I kind of want to build some shit, you know?
Hey, you can't just do that, but you made agreements
What
with
if we
people.
had an arm in the middle of our stomach? Okay, before you say anything, just take a look. Hey, Steve, come in. See, he's got an arm in the middle of his stomach. How cool is that? It doesn't work, but it's just kind of there.
He's dead.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, Steve. Well,
my
okay.
God.
No, that is just...
Yeah.
Okay, so he was... But how do you make it through medical school? There wasn't one professor that was like...
I don't know.
Hey, you think Tucker's kind of creepy?
I could have researched his life more, I'm going to be honest with you.
Fair enough. Okay.
But I don't know. I think it's spooky for me because it just sounds like it should be a B horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Reanimator.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
but I haven't
yeah.
seen it, so I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. That is okay. That's legitimately spooky because he's not. It's not even the murder. I mean, of his wife and himself.
Yeah,
Like,
that's whatever.
Messed up.
Whatever.
But what's really scary is that these
Having
people just
fucking
going
square
to the
boobs. Imagine that. You're just some lady that wants, to have a breast augmentation, and you fucking leave with square boobs? Oh my God.
Glenn, they're square.
Is that not? I don't understand.
Have
What's
you
the
seen
problem?
a boob before?
I'm gonna be honest with you. No,
You saw mine before the operation.
I closed my eyes because they were gross. Also, I like that my characters all have the same voice.
Yeah. They are all just like greasy New
Yeah.
Yorkers. That is insane. The fact that, but he wasn't. I mean, this was a time when like doctors just lived in houses and they were just like,
No. It was. He died as recently as 2011.
get out of here.
He was doing this shit in like the 80s or 90s.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
okay, well.
I was just assuming it was like H.H. Holmes, 1800s. What?
No, that's what makes it
Are
even
you
fucking
kidding
crazier.
Me? He did
Yeah.
that in 2000.
Well, he
Get
did it in like
outta
the
here.
80s or 90s.
Okay, fine.
But still 80s or 90s.
to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying. But he was in a hospital?
Yeah, he was like a plastic surgeon.
Oh, I guess those are like more private.
I guess, yeah,
things.
I guess,
Yeah,
but
I guess.
still,
nuts.
somebody should have.
That's Nutter Butters.
Yeah.
You should have. How did he not get arrested?
Well, I guess because technically,
Don't you say he technically didn't do anything wrong.
no, he did things wrong, but I'm wondering if back then he could have just been like, oh, well, that was like a botched surgery. It wasn't on purpose. I mean, eventually lawsuits
But
started
how many
filing.
times-
Yeah, he
how
should
many
have been in
botched
prison.
surgeries
He
do
should
you
have been in
get
prison.
before it's
No,
like, okay, you
yeah,
can't
he should
do
have been in
this
prison.
anymore. Also, thank God the internet exists, so 3 Yelp reviews in, you don't even have to worry about that anymore. You know what I mean?
So I went in with a cold, and then I left with square ass cheeks. I'm sorry.
Oh, honestly, they're cool, but like
It was
I don't
cool at
like
first,
them.
but it's kind of really hard to sit down.
Pants don't fit great.
Yeah, my pants.
I have to now cut squares out of the back.
Went
of them.
in with a cut on my finger. Now I got 30 fingers.
I don't even know where he got the other 10 fingers.
Ah!
Anyway, 1 star.
Anyway, 9 out of 10 would recommend. Aside from the finger thing, pretty
Honestly,
nice guy.
amazing coffee in the waiting room.
Oh my God, great donuts. I don't know where he got those donuts. Chef's kiss.
Absolutely amazing.
For years, drivers... Okay, yeah, no, but spooky though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. For years, drivers have reported a man wearing... So this one's kind of short, but I thought it was kind of interesting. So drivers have reported a man wearing what appears to be a green army jacket from the 1960s and blue jeans walking down the road.
Rambo.
Yes. Oh my God, it's Rambo. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so dumb. This is just Rambo. In most reports, this man is said to have a dark beard.
Yep.
And long, greasy black hair.
Okay.
Drivers will pass him, not paying too much attention to the scraggly man, but then are overwhelmed when after traveling for about a mile down the road, they see the same man.
Hey, it's me again.
Wait a second.
Oh.
So, how could this man have gone ahead of them so quickly when other cars have gone by?
Twins.
Yes. That was the explanation. Some people have attempted to give the man a ride, but find that he vanishes from sight before he reaches their car. This particular section of highway has undergone some changes and upgrades in the past year, with more scheduled for the coming years. Yet that doesn't seem to have deterred the Phantom Hitchhiker, cool name,
That is pretty great, yeah.
from making his presence known. The Baraboo Tours Facebook page reported that a sighting was reported on November 7th, 2011 by a truck driver. The driver spotted the man about 9:45 p.m. near Sky High Road. Ski High? Ski High.
Definitely.
Ski
Yeah,
High.
I don't know.
He was spotted again by the S-curve near Skillet Creek. Another witness shared his story. I don't know why I capitalized his. In which he gave an excellent physical description of the man and pointed out that he saw the man for the first time near the airport on the east side of the road and again near the S-curve between the cemetery and the trailer park. Although it may have tried to find the phantom hitchhiker, no one has yet been able to explain who he is or why he's haunting this particular stretch of road. I just thought it was cool because it was like, it's just some guy. He's not even he's not even doing anything. He's just a ghost that's just walking.
Well,
he's got a good sense of style. I bet you that army jacket and those blue jeans look fucking great.
Oh, I'm sure he looks like De Niro from Taxi Driver.
Oh my God.
Right? Yeah. I just think it's like...
I think it's just kooky.
Why isn't anyone taking a picture of him?
Yeah. Kooky for me.
Yeah, it's pretty kooky.
Next
one.
Yeah. Next we move on to Michigan. One famous lake monster, somewhere in the deep, clear waters of Torch Lake.
Hey-o-winter-ha.
Yes, it's been preying on unsuspecting visitors and campers of YMCA camp Hey-o-winter-ha.
Sorry.
For generations.
Bless you.
Thank you. Dave Foley, a counselor of the camp in the 1960s and the 70s, takes credit for starting the myth. Dave would.
I think this one's just a myth.
Yeah. What?
I don't know why. Just something about the guy taking credit for starting a myth makes me think it might just be a myth.
Which was later popularized in a song by fellow counselor and folk musician Bob Thurston.
Thurston Moore from Sonic Youth?
Yes. One eye is brown, one eye is blue, his body covered all in icky green goo, the lyrics sang.
Sick.
I know. The presence of a 50-pound muskies in the lake likely contributed to this tale, but another legend speaks of a sea panther, claiming that Torch Lake contains a monster with a head of a cat and the body of a lizard.
That's catfish.
Punk rock.
That's just a catfish.
Oh.
That's just a catfish.
Fuck.
It's just a catfish.
Damn it.
Because it's got whisker. It's just a catfish.
Claiming even though Houghton Lake is Michigan's largest inland lake, Torch Lake is Michigan's longest and deepest inland lake.
Oh.
Stretching out over 19 miles and 285 feet deep.
That's deep.
That's fucking deep.
That's deep.
The water is unbelievably crystal clear with a turquoise. This is another turquoise.
You got it, buddy.
Tint. God, English. God, I don't even know what I'm speaking anymore.
Yeah, well, you've been doing this whole podcast in Spanish. I've been yelling at you.
No!
To try to stop it. You just won't.
Hi. This creature is said to live at the very bottom of the deepest part of the lake and rises to the surface at night, searching for late-night boaters or fishermen, swimmers, and campers to chase away from his lair or possibly devour. Stories of people who end up drowning.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Oh my God, that's a monster!
Yeah,
just go. Come on.
Get out of here.
Just get out of here.
Get out of here.
Are you gonna eat me? No, just go.
Just go.
Go.
Leave.
I'm trying to fucking watch TV because I'm making noise. Just trying to have a night in.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Enough of the fucking songs.
God. You got icky green. Okay, how would I like a song if I made it with you where it's like,
oh, he's a dummy with brown hair and he's fucking pale white.
He's got stupid glasses and bad acne. Oh, is that hurtful? Does it hurt you? Because I bet it does.
That did hurt.
Yeah,
actually.
it did. I bet it does.
Stories of people who have ended up drowning in the lake persist. Bodies are said to have been found washed up on shore, but no explanation of what happened. Overturned boat, intoxicated, held underwater by something. I think it's just kooky. I liked it though because I just picture like a monster from the Black Lagoon, and I think that'd be the best lake monster that there could be.
Yeah, that's actually pretty great. I do thoroughly enjoy that idea.
The lyrics kind of slap, you know? Some crazy good lyrics.
Yeah.
What were they again? One eye is brown, one eye is blue. His body covered all in icky green goo.
It reminds me of there's a song by the Cramps called Goo Goo Muck, where it's like, you better duck when I show up, Goo Goo Muck. It's so good. I love it. But,
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, but it reminds me of that a lot. That's what I imagine that this monster listens to.
According to legend, in the mid-1800s, an old man by the name of Elias
I'm
Frisky.
going to say that one was kind of kooky, but in a good way.
Yeah, I think, I say it's kooky, but it's just kind of like, it's just a fun camp thing.
Yeah.
Like, if I was camping, I'd be like, fuck, I don't want to go in that lake.
Well,
First off, I don't like deep lakes. I'm really scared of that. I don't like deep things. I don't like to not be able to see the bottom.
Sure. I thought it was really clear, though.
Yeah, but then it gets really deep, though.
Oh, it's dark.
Yeah, so it's dark.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, according to legend, in the mid-1800s, an old man by the name of Elias Frisky lured a group of...
Of course he did.
Yeah. Lured a group of children
yeah,
to
of course
their
he
death in a Pied Piper manner.
Yeah.
The story goes that some children came up missing, and some townsmen organized a search party to go into the woods to look for them. They didn't want to leave the other children unattended, so they
enough.
left kindly old Mr. Frisky in charge of babysitting.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Because there was no women or older children to...
No one has ever said, oh, Mr. Frisky should be in charge of the kids.
Which might have been the worst thing that they could have done.
Yeah.
Because claiming he didn't want to have any children wander off, Frisky tied the children together and marched them into the woods. Mm-hmm. Once at the location of the bridge, the kids noticed a rancid stench. After mentioning this to Mr. Frisky, he uncovered a pile of leaves and branches to reveal the bodies of the other missing children in a classic villain fashion. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's that smell? Why, it's the other children I killed.
Oh no!
Wait, why did you just throw like leaves on them? That's a kind of a shitty way to. Why don't you bury them or get rid of the bodies?
I'm gonna kill you first.
Right. The kids' screams did no good, for Frisky knew the search party was off in another direction. He proceeded to kill the children one by one and dump their bodies into the Rogue River. Later, when the townspeople realized their kids and Frisky were missing, they said, where are the kids? They said.
Right.
They searched along the river until they came to the spot and saw the bodies of the children in the water. Following Frisky's footprints, they found him covered in blood, babbling about how the devil coaxed him into the killings.
Yeah, the
devil made me do it.
It's got the devil in me.
Devil made me do it.
Devil made me stab those kids. Maybe time to get Mr. Frisky. Don't know nothing about having a devil in him, but he's got a devil in him.
So they followed Frisky's footprints.
Found
him covered in blood, talking about how the devil made me do it. The men grabbed the rope Frisky had used to tie up the children.
Evidence.
Yeah.
Well, it was the 1800s. I guess it
irony. And they proceeded to hang him right then and there from the nearby stone bridge.
That's it? They weren't like, hey, let's have a conversation about why.
No, they were just like, fuck, our kids are dead. I guess we got to kill this guy. You know how things were back in the 1800s?
I don't, because I wasn't there.
Well, you didn't think, you know?
Fair
you
enough.
just
they were men
did
of action.
Yeah. So they hung him from the nearby stone footbridge, and then the legend says that the rope snapped, and the current took his body downstream, and it was never found. To this day, it's said that evil forces that influence Frisky still inhabit the area. You can see the faces of the murdered children under the water from time to time, and you can hear the devil laughing in the woods if you're there at midnight. That's exactly what he sounds like. I'm just a little old devil. I'm just making people kill kids. Glowing red eyes have been seen in the woods and on the bridge, along with the sounds of screams and laughing of young children late at night. Why would the children laugh? I don't know, because they were pretty fucking... Unless they... We're getting killed, they said. Tubers claim they've seen hands trying to pull them into the river.
Stop tubing in the murder river.
Who the fuck is tubing in this river?
You know, we should go... You remember that murder where all those kids died? Let's go tubing there. Also, I mean, this story has a lot of questions. Like, how did he get the first group of kids?
Don't know.
Okay,
yeah.
Right, okay.
I think it's a spooky legend, but it's obviously... Spooky. But it is a bit kooky, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, honestly...
But it is spooky.
Just the idea, that's what I think it's... I think the scary stories are the ones that are just like, it's a general atmosphere of fear and scariness in these woods, and less like, it's just a guy. If they were like Mr. Frisky still walking around the woods, it'd be a little less creepy than just like the devil's around in those woods. Yeah.
The legend of the Nain, I think it's Nain Rouge. The Nain Rouge is said to go back to 1701, when Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac founded Detroit.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. The shortened and oft...
what a history of cars that city has.
Yeah. The shortened and oft-repeated version of the tale states that Cadillac was attacked by the feared Red Dwarf, who then cursed...
Stop shoving your sci-fi into our podcast. God.
This is a Star Trek podcast. What did you expect?
Fair enough. Not Red Dwarf, I guess.
Who then cursed Cadillac in the city. The folk tale has persisted on the periphery of Detroit culture, with the Nine said to appear before disaster strikes. So he's very much like a Mothman kind of being.
Richard Gere.
Yes. He's Richard Gere. According to legend, the Nine appeared right before 1763's Battle of Bloody Run, where around 60 British soldiers were killed in a thwarted attack against Chief Pontiac. The Nine was also said to have appeared before the infamous 1805 fire, which nearly destroyed the entire city.
Okay, but what
Remember when that could happen?
Fire could destroy
an entire fucking city.
Yeah.
Like, remember, was it San Francisco or
that was an earthquake. Chicago.
which one was the one where like it was the cow that tipped the shit over and it almost
That was
burned
the Chicago fire.
Was it Chicago
Yeah.
fire? God, I'm so glad we don't. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm glad we don't live there. Are you looking what he?
Yeah, I just want to see what this guy looks like because I'd explain him to me. I don't really know what it is.
So yeah,
it just looks like a devil.
yeah. So I think I've got his description down.
Pretty
here.
cool looking though.
Some say that the dwarf could be seen before the 12th Street riot in 1967 and as recently as 1976. It was reported that 2 DTE workers spotted what they thought was a child climbing a utility pole before a particularly brutal snowstorm crippled the city. Possibly the most recent Nain sighting was that. Each spring, the city hosts the Marche du Nain Rouge parade to chase the Nain Rouge out of the city and prevent further misfortune. So he's basically...
That's right, and it works. Evident in the city of Detroit.
Being
that
totally
clearly
okay.
They got rid of it, and there's no more misfortune in the great American city of Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
Look at the Pistons. You know, their
They're doing
basketball
amazing.
team. Sorry, I know I'll do Sports Corner. The Detroit Pistons, who traded Andre Drummond, which I could argue would be good for them, but they are terrible.
I completely tuned out for...
That's okay. It's fine. 3 people will appreciate it.
So basically, he's like a Mothman. He's like Detroit's Mothman, right?
Except
so
he's a little devil.
He's a little fucker. You know what I mean? The story goes that I know that's how I feel right now. So the story goes that this fortune teller, I believe, I might be reminded, whatever, it's a folk tale, so it doesn't matter. But this fortune teller told Cadillac, they told him, this thing is going to appear before you, but when it does, you have to treat it with respect. And then it appeared before him, and he was basically like, get the fuck out of the way. And he tried to beat it with a stick, and then the Nain Rouge was like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Cadillac, you son of a bitch.
Well, that's unfair to Cadillac, who when a little red devil pops up and he wasn't like, oh, God, monster. And then they was like mean about it. Like, oh, you treated me poorly. It's like, hey, don't sneak up on people.
Yeah, so
you
he's
little idiot.
He's like a Mothman-esque kind of cryptid, I guess.
Right.
Where he comes before misfortune strikes a city, and if he's not appeased, then bad shit will happen. So it could be said that he causes it, because the difference between him and Mothman is said to be a harbinger, like warning of it happening, whereas the Nain Rouge appears to be maybe the cause of it. He's just like a little imp man, a little goblin man.
What an appropriate Detroit monster, though, right?
Yeah, I think of all the things it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like it.
Yeah. And finally, we come to Ohio, the Buckeye State.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
Wish we hadn't done that.
Midway through 1972, Defiance became what can only be termed Werewolf Central. Over the course of 2 months, July to August of that year, sightings of a rampaging hair-covered man-beast with a pronounced muzzle and dressed in rags were made.
I didn't know where that was going to go.
Yeah, I know, with a pronounced bulge in his pants. Again, this just sounds like a homeless man, but anyway, I'm going to get into it.
A little bit,
The local media quickly picked up on the sinister saga, as did the town's police, who even opened an official file on Defiance's very own monster. To say that Defiance was gripped by terror would not be an understatement. Many of the sightings of the creature were made around a series of old railroad tracks, and usually late at night.
So, like, where homeless men sleep?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. A couple of guys working on the tracks, Ted Davis and Tom Jones, had an encounter. Wait, the Tom Jones?
Yeah. And then those sightings went on to...
It's not unusual to be... That's it.
It's not unusual to be a werewolf.
Wolf in Defiance.
Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah.
And then his editor was like, Tom,
Tom, this is nothing. So they had it...
And then he went on and made Werewolf of London.
Yep.
He wrote it. Sorry, he didn't write it, obviously. Sing it.
Had an encounter of the very close kind. A close call, one might say. Davis told the local newspaper, The Blade. Cool ass name for newspaper, right?
Oh, see, actually, The Blade was focusing more on vampires.
He said, quote, I was connecting an air hose between 2 cars and was looking down.
It's all about the details.
I saw these huge, hairy feet. And then I looked up, and he was standing there with that big stick over his shoulder.
No, that just sounds like a homeless man with a bundle over his shoulder.
When I started to say something, he took off for the woods. End quote.
Hi. Oh, it just ran away.
People
These
were
are
on.
not werewolves. Do people know what werewolves are? 'Cause
No.
werewolves eat
No.
people and are like scary. This is just like a
This is just a homeless man.
yeah.
People were on edge. The Defiance werewolf was major news, and then, like a definitive specter of the night, it was no more. The legend, however, never really did die away.
Yeah, because werewolves are still around. Well, I mean, like the idea of them.
Werewolf of Defiance. The monster may be long gone, but memories of those days and nights
The
of
homeless man.
early
The homeless man may
'cause
be
he died.
long gone.
'Cause
He's
he
just
died.
gone. Yeah.
Of the early 70s will persist among those who lived through that brief, turbulent time of terror. Even the drawing of, or I think the pictures that I saw just looked like a man covered in like rags.
It doesn't even look like a werewolf.
No.
Because everyone knows what a werewolf looks
Yeah.
like. I mean, just watch Harry Potter.
I think that's a great example of a werewolf.
Yeah, that one. And what's the Benicio del Toro?
Yeah,
one?
Wolfman.
Yeah.
It's so
I think it's
good.
Wolfman, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a sorry.
Not Wolfman.
No, it's Benicio del Toro, his cousin. No, it's Benicio del Toro, Guillermo del Toro. God, imagine Guillermo del Toro as a werewolf. Just a big old werewolf.
I'm just happy to be a monster.
I just love being a monster. It's kooky. It's not even a good werewolf story.
No, not really. It's
just,
not even a werewolf.
It's clearly
story.
just a homeless man.
or it's nothing.
Or it's nothing.
Or it sounded more like Bigfoot,
Yeah.
the way you described
He had
it.
these big old hairy feet, so it was a werewolf.
You know what they say about werewolves with big feet.
They got big sticks over their shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, just honestly, that was that's not what werewolves do.
No.
People,
If it was a werewolf, you would be fucking dead. You wouldn't
Yes.
be telling a story. You would be mauled to death.
yeah. Anyway, so I was putting a hose from this car into this car, and then a werewolf came, and I was like, get out of here.
Get out of
And
here, you werewolf. And
he
it was
left.
like, aw.
Yeah. Anyway,
Michigan, Ohio, and Connecticut. In the suburbs of these states, locals fear a race of humanoids called Melon Heads. Each
Oh,
state
this is
has
getting
its
sweaty,
own
Jose.
variation of the Melon Head urban legend. Why?
never mind. Go ahead.
No. No, it's not. This is what they call it.
I'm just
okay?
saying it's getting sweaty. That's all.
Yes, I know, and it gets sweatier. Blame Ohio. So yeah, each of these various states has a variation of the Melonhead urban legend, but everyone who has claimed to have seen these creatures is given the same description. First theorized in the 1970s, melonheads are said to be completely bald with misshapen bulbous heads, deformed arms and legs, teeth like daggers, and luminous red eyes.
What?
Appearance aside, the most terrifying thing that every melonhead legend has in common is that these creatures were at one time human.
Right.
Yeah, because humans are fucking terrifying.
It just sounds like the I don't want to call them pinheads, but the pinheaded people.
Yeah.
Like the guy from the
Yeah.
Goonies.
I know what
I'm
you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That was a real person.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. Ohio's melonheads are said to spend most of their time lurking in the suburbs of Kirtland. Like the Michigan legend, the legend in Ohio is also centered around children under the care of a dangerous doctor. Only this legend places the children in an orphanage rather than an insane asylum. Known mainly by the
Does make
name.
more sense for where children would be.
Yeah. Known mainly by, but okay, to be fair, 1800s, if a kid just threw a fit, they would have been like, this kid's insane.
Clearly, he's got Satan in him. We should get him to the
Give
insane asylum.
him a cigarette. Give him some heroin. If he's not better, then take him to the
Timmy,
insane asylum.
calm down. Good Lord, you're acting like an infant.
You're acting like someone that's never had heroin.
What are you, a child?
Known mainly by the name Dr. Crow. This doc was supposedly responsible for performing scientific experiments on the children, causing their hair to fall out and their bodies to mutate. Also
So
similar.
like not a good Professor X.
No.
Like a bad Professor X.
Also similar to the Michigan myth is the theory that these children were diagnosed with hydrocephalus, a condition that involves an unusually large amount of cerebrospinal fluid to build within the brain. If there is an early onset of hydrocephalus, it often leads to the swelling of the head. However, in Ohio, legend has it that Dr. Crow made the children's heads even larger by injecting their brains with excess fluid.
Boy, Dr. Crow was inspired by another doctor from the state of Minnesota that gave a lady square boobs and was like, I could give them bigger heads.
It might be the same guy. It might be
Yeah.
after he faked his death in a boating accident.
There was actually a little bit there where I was where I was giving kids weird heads.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. After murdering the sadistic doctor and setting fire to the orphanage, the children led a feral life in the woods, becoming cannibals.
Sick.
I don't know about this one because I feel like this one's kind of, kind of murky. Like it makes me think.
I don't suppose you found any evidence of any of that happening?
No. There was no evidence.
So. I was just curious.
Everything was like all the stuff. The research I found was very much like, look, it was probably some people that suffered like some genetic
legitimate disease, and everyone was like, "Oh my god,
oh
you're
my
a
god,
monster.
yeah." It's that's
Good
like,
God, look at you! You're
forget
disgusting. You're a disgusting melon head. Get out of here. Go into the woods. What are you, a cannibal? I bet you're a cannibal. I can tell by the shape of your gross head. Get out of here. Get in the woods, you idiot.
I think it's like,
oh my god, did you hear they're eating each other? They have red eyes and sharp teeth. We just saw them. None of that's true. Nah.
No, I'm pretty
look at
sure
them,
it is.
Actually, you know what? I looked at them. You're right.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
It's like the dog boy thing where like that it was like the disease where like you get hair all over your face and it inspired like the dog boy myth or whatever.
Which is probably the disease the wolf guy had in the last one too. That's why he was homeless.
Yeah. I think kooky for me. It's not even fun. It's just weird.
Not. I mean, it's like a fun. It's a straight up fun movie or like a season of American Horror Story.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
But also, by the way, I mean Russell Crowe as Dr. Crow. I mean, come on.
Oh my god,
it casts itself.
Yeah.
But it's kind of bleh.
Yeah. Now, we have reached the last legend on our list, which sounds like something out of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Which we've already had the hag dog, the Hodag.
Yeah, the Hodag was pretty close.
They blew it up with dynamite. I mean, that's literally
a Yosemite Sam or a Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
No, but this one is called the Loveland Frog. In March of 1972, on two separate occasions, two Ohio policemen saw what has become known as the Loveland Frog. The first incident took place at 1 a.m. on March 3rd, 1972, on a clear, cold night. Officer Ray Shockey was en route to Loveland via Riverside Road when he thought he saw a dog beside the highway, in a field on Twitewee Road. What are these, baby names? Twitewee. This sounds like Elmer Fudd named this road.
Whitey.
But then the thing stood up. Its eyes illuminated by the car lights, looked at him for an instant, turned, and leapt over a guardrail. Shockey saw it go down an embankment and into the Little Miami River. He described the thing as weighing about 60 pounds. Okay, he described it about... How would you... Doesn't matter.
No, I know. I get it. How would you know? Yeah. How would you know? You wouldn't.
Standing about 3 to 4 feet tall and having a textured, leathery skin and a face like a frog or lizard. Shockey drove to the police station.
That was just Richard Nixon in the leather jacket.
And returned with Officer Mark Matthews to look for evidence of the creature. They turned up scrape marks leading down the side of the small hill near the river. On St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 1972, Officer Matthews was driving outside of Loveland when he had a similar experience. Seeing an animal laying in the middle of the road, he stopped to remove what he thought was a dead critter. Instead, when the officer opened his squeaky car door, the animal got up into a crouched position like a football player, and the creature hobbled to the guardrail and lifted its leg over the fence, keeping an eye on Matthews the whole time.
Ugh.
Perhaps it was the funny smirk on its face, but Matthews decided to shoot it. You know, cops. He missed, however.
Yeah, that actually seems super believable.
Probably because the thing didn't slow down. Matthews later told how he felt the creature stood more upright than the way Shockey had described it. One area farmer told investigators he saw a large frog-like lizard creature during the same month of the officer's sighting. The most recent sighting took place in 2016 when two teens playing Pokemon Go reported seeing a large frog stand up and walk away from them, and as he did, it started singing. It sang a chilling song that went like this: "Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime doll."
Okay. Listen,
isn't that just the most bananas one? Did you look up what it looks like?
I did, but
it's just a giant frog.
It's the funniest thing to me is that every time someone sees it, it's just like, no, it's not even. It's just like, oh god, okay, fine, and then it just like just walks away. It's just like the sound of flippers on cement, where it's like it's just like walks down the street. I mean, come on, but honestly, okay, but I did look it up. I found a picture. I didn't do any research about it. No idea if it's even real. If it's supposed real, I'm sure it's not. But honestly, that picture was pretty creepy.
Yeah, was it the one of the guardrail with its leg over the guardrail?
No, it's just one where it's like in the middle of a lake or something, and it like looks like legitimately creepy. I'm sure it's fake, but I like it.
There's one that's like a really detailed picture of it, like stepping over a guardrail. Did you see that one? It's that one right there. It's that one right there.
Oh, this one? This is a painting. I do want to buy that painting and hang it up somewhere.
I think it's spooky because it's fun.
I do too, just because the picture honestly is like creepy. Those like bright eyes and stuff, but no, it is a lot of fun. The song thing, that was fake, right? That was just
I added that.
Okay, just making sure. No. Well, honestly, because I'm imagining
that's the song that the little frog sings.
No, I know, I get it. I just imagine it's just like, hello,
and it's got a little top hat and a cane.
No, it's just slowly as it's just,
hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime doll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. That's fun. I do enjoy it. It's a little spooky.
It didn't say if the kids caught it or not on the Pokemon Go.
Oh, God. Good one. I am imagining like him in the police station, like, we were playing Pokemon Go and we saw.
Oh, well, that's the problem. You were on your phone.
Did you catch it? Because it was probably one of them Pokemans that you're talking about. Did you catch the Pokemans? The Frogmons? Did you catch it?
And with that, it's time to wrap the show up. So that was the end of part 1.
That's me wrapping up.
If you like the show, make sure to leave a 5-star review, which you can do in-app. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps the show. And then we read the review on the show, but it helps the show because it like helps bump it up.
It just makes us feel better too.
Yeah, it makes me feel good. It makes us feel real good about ourselves because that's validation.
Yeah.
You can support the show by going to patreon.com/captainslogcast and donate $1, or similarly, you can donate whatever amount you'd like on Venmo by Venmoing J-Valle27. That's J-VALLE 27. Anything helps keep the lights on. Remember, if you donate, it all goes towards improving the show, getting better recording equipment, etc. But if those options don't float your boat, there is another way you can help with the show. You can click the Amazon affiliate link in the episode description and buy whatever you might get on Amazon, and we get a kickback from it. So it's no cost to you. You're not paying anything extra for it. Just literally you click the link, you go buy whatever, and then we get a kickback somehow. It has to be within the you have to click on it and buy it within the first 24 hours, because then otherwise you'll have to go back and re-click it again, something like that. For instance, I would recommend like the book Mysteries Unwrapped, Mutants and Monsters, which you can find. Or I would also recommend you can find that one by clicking the link. It'll take you to that directly, but from there you can go buy whatever. For instance, the book Horns. Yeah, you could go buy Horns by Joe Hill. But yeah, like I said, if you decide not to get either of those and you just want to buy whatever, say you need to buy something for your house, if you click the link and you go and buy whatever you need, we get a kickback from it, and you're helping us out by literally not spending more than you normally would for what you're already going to buy. So go do that, because that helps a lot. Mason, do you want to remind everyone where they can find you? Give them your address, your workplace, your daily schedule, that sort of thing.
You can find me on Twitter under Mason Schrader. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't use it very often. Okay. But feel free to check it out.
I'll link it in the description.
Yeah, that would be great. If you need to, you don't need to get a hold of me. If you really want to talk to me, I guess you can use the same contacts for the log, the podcast. I think as of right now, you can probably cut this out if it's not true, but the idea is I think I'm going to be a bigger part of the show moving forward.
I was going to explain that. I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot. So that was part of the reason why we're off the schedule. I didn't do a show because it looks like moving forward, Mason is going to be either a regular or a fairly regular co-host. Yes. I mean, you're the first mate.
First mate.
Yeah. Right. So moving forward, I mean, so the way I'm planning with this series is we'll come back in the next 2 weeks to do part 2 of the Midwest, Mysteries of the Midwest. But then we might do like a movie episode or something, but Mason would still be there for that one as well.
Yeah. A regular guest.
Yeah. So he'll be regular, I'd say co-host at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you have a question for Mason or I, you can use the show contact information. So you can follow me on Instagram at j.valle_junior, and the show on Twitter at Captain's Log Pod, which is how you can reach me and Mason, where we recommend movies on there, post show updates, tweet some occasionally funny stuff. So go check it out. You can also subscribe on YouTube, where you can find me as Jose Valle Jr., Animal Productions, and of course the show's official YouTube channel, Captain's Log, which will all be linked in the description. Make sure to tell your friends and family about the show if you enjoy it, and if you'd like to tell me about how we totally butchered a recounting of an urban legend, or why we're idiots for not mentioning your favorite,
or
why
how Jose shouldn't put in Native American names anymore.
Yeah, or how your uncle totally saw the Loveland Frog, please do so by writing into Captain's Logcast. That's Captain's Logcast at gmail.com. And you can also suggest episode topics, guests you'd like to have back, or recommendations for Check This Out. Make sure to subscribe and download on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, and any other podcast directory. Thanks to Max Benyon for composing the show's theme. And with that, everybody, we've reached the end of our show. Tune in next time on the same time and on the same frequency for another episode. I've been your Captain, Jose Valle, joined by
Mason Schrader. Same bat place, same bat channel.
That's right. And this has been Captain's Log. End of transmission.
You. Boop.